And we are live. Welcome everyone. Matt Black Studio Pixel Art Stream Part Dos, or just number 2. I'm sure you all know I'm Eric, and with me is the fantabulous
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron. I don't know how fantabulous I am, but
Fantasticular. That's a word, right? Fantasticular.
Extra fantastic, fantabulous.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, boys and girls, we're messing with the Scribe over here. It's funny. I was gonna say before we near the end of this stream last time, my back's been kind of crappy lately, and it was hurting. So I think I was just in autopilot blur mode.
Jesus.
So I'm looking at it now that everything's calm. And I'm hey, I'm looking at it lucidly.
You sly dog.
Anyway, I'm looking at it now and I can see, I can see what I want to do and what I want to change.
Oh, and peep our new beautiful overlay, you guys.
Oh yeah, look.
We have upgraded our streaming capabilities.
We're joining the new age, man. We've got this chat now. So if anybody comes in and wants to say hi and make us not feel so alone in this cold, dark world, they can just say hi right here.
And your comments will be seen on the stream.
Yeah.
For posterity, immortalized in digital form.
So, all right.
Even when you're dust, your comments here will live on.
Live on forever.
As testament to your
forever.
Your support. Yeah.
Okay, I'm only moving this so I have literal controls of the stream. Okay. Let's see. Here's our boy. Where were we? I'm gonna pick a spot. I'm gonna flesh out this arm right now. I'm gonna get this guy. Getting this guy looking.
The pointy arm?
Yeah, the pointy arm. This
pointy
one.
end.
Arm.
He
pointy.
is a lefty, like me. So.
Well, he is your almost an avatar.
Well, he's not my namesake because he's not called Aaron the Scribe.
No, so you're surrogate.
He's like my insert character.
That's fair. Okay, arm pointy.
It's funny. I was thinking about insert characters the other day.
Oh yeah.
George R. R. Martin's insert character in Game of Thrones is.
He has an insert character.
I think so. That's how I read it, and it's Wyman Manderly. Is he
in the show or is he only in the books?
He's in the show, but the purpose, his character in the show is completely different than his character in the books.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of him in the show is completely different than the purpose of him in the books.
Mm-hmm.
But he's basically a morbidly obese Lord of White Harbor who everyone...
His surrogate character is just a morbidly obese person?
Well, it's George R. R. Martin. I mean, I think he knows.
Oh, okay.
You got a little streak of stuff there, buddy.
You're right. I totally did. Whoa. Oh, you want to know what? Ta-da. Where is it? Is it off now? I have touch on my pad.
Touch off your pad.
I would like to. It's really not listening to me right now. I'm afraid to do anything about it. Can I undo? And we're back.
Oh, I see. You're still using the arm pointy and arm closed. That's exactly right.
Yeah, man. That was a fantastic suggestion. We were having, or I was having, a crisis of left or right arm, and there are even more descriptive qualities to left than left and right.
I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, no one's going to see it once it's.
Oh, now they do. Now they're seeing how the meat's made.
The sausage.
Sausage meat.
Do you know like the actual phrase, like the actual original formulation of that phrase?
They're still on came up with the phrase.
Phrase like a PH.
I mean, I can only assume a butcher, but
no. So it's the phrase is, if you want to maintain your respect for the city alderman, and your appetite for sausages, you should take care not to be present when the former is being groomed and the latter is being manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
And in a more colloquial way, it's a little different. It says, laws are like sausages. You sleep better the less you know about how they're made.
Yeah. the less you know, the better. Is essentially what we're talking about. His finger looks like it was dipped in lube. Now that you mention it. Well, thanks, Ace. Thanks.
What kind of lube are you using that's
man.
glowing blue?
Well, yeah, please send us your magic glowy blue lube. I would love to know how that feels. Is it warm or is it cold to the touch? Is it like an icy hot?
Is icy hot blue?
I mean,
or is this feels blue, cold?
I'm really hoping that... okay, here's my... I'm a firm believer, and I don't even think this is... I'm not like spitting hot takes here. Pixel art is... or at least my pixel art really shines in animation. I'm hoping that with animation, this is going to start glowing. There'll be some twinklies. It may look less looby to the everyone. I mean, in pixel art representation. Oh God, Ace, you're breaking my balls, Ace. You're breaking my balls.
His balls are broken.
I have broken balls. All right, I'm gonna keep the blue lube for now, and hopefully it remedies itself in animation. If it continues to look like, you know what, maybe it's... Are you talking about these fingies? You know what, I can see that. I really hope you're talking about these fingies.
I mean, I kind of like it because it reminds me of old scribes, how they would have just like ink on their fingers.
That's what I was going for.
And their mouths too, because they would like...
Oh, they would pontificate?
Well, they would lick the quills, and so cool. there'd be ink all over their faces too.
That's cool. Interesting.
Can you move this slightly so I can read the text?
I just need it from a hand.
Can you
do you have a phone or your other laptop just so you can read the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
I just need it for my fingies.
I'm with you. I will go to Twitch and do it myself.
Okay. Ace, how you doing, man? By the way, thanks again for that clip, dude. I watched it a whole bunch of times. I was watching that stream because I guess I'm a narcissist, but I was really enjoying it. Okay, so we got the fingies, got some shading going on. I think this green needs another shade. There we are. We're here. Let's do this. Arm glow. Am I on the right arm? Nope. Back here. Pointy finger. All right, let's see. The light's here. This is a very strange light source that I'm looking at. This light's hitting at the top. This is getting light. This should be getting light. My light source is off on this arm. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, my light source is off. Alright, I'm gonna fix the light source before adding a highlight. It's really hard to offend me. I know you're kidding. I love you, buddy.
Oh yeah, we are not easily offended. If we're affected being offended, then you know that we're just joking around.
Yeah. I love busting balls, dude. Stop. I was messing with you. And I'm good. I'm glad to hear. How are you enjoying Eldin Ring, man? We're probably gonna be streaming relatively soon again. But yeah, how are you enjoying it? Okay. Right now I'm fixing my light source, Aaron. If you can see where the light's hitting here? It looks like there's a light from it looks like there should be a light from above.
I mean, what kind of
arm,
room is he in? Or rather, what's the light source in his room?
Well, it's definitely. I guess it's gonna be mostly from his hand. Less important. It's kind of important, but so the way Lucid's built is there's going to be a normal map, and that's going to really dictate how light hits him. But right now, there's going to be a light above him, and then the secondary
normal
light.
map. You mean it in like a game way?
Yes.
Like mapping.
Yes, not like a regular.
I mean, you got to tell me what that actually means.
A normal map. Hold on, let me bring up the internets.
Oh Jesus.
Oh God, yeah, this is not my computer again. Hey everyone, I'll do it over here. I can't bring it over here.
Just go to mine, man. It's okay.
All right, here we go.
That's me, everybody.
And we'll do this, and then do tabby, and we're bringing it back. Okay. A normal map. Normal map. Let's just do that. I bet Google can figure it out. Images. Okay, so you see this normal map here. These are normal maps.
I'll go back to the get OBS back on.
Bring OBS back.
I can see it, I guess. It's
okay,
fine.
great. So these are normal maps. Normal maps, they are flat images. However, they can simulate light interaction with a flat image. So you see a lot of games, like a lot of the walls, even in Eldin Ring, for sure is doing this. To simulate geometry, the more polygons, the more processing power you're going to need. So instead of like making polygons to simulate light, you just do this. You put this normal map underneath, and depending on... Oh, yeah, exactly. Here we go. This is it. It basically simulates light. So without normal map, with normal map. See that difference?
Yes.
So basically based on the color, this map dictates how much the pixel illuminates. If it recognizes it's being hit by a light, it will become lighter based on the color.
Fair enough.
So that's essentially what a normal map is. How do I get out of here? Oh. Let me out. Cool.
Oh, let's move the chat a little bit higher up, because I think some of it's being...
Oh, truth. Okay, here.
Twitch chat.
I'm over here. Twitch chat.
Let's bring it up a little bit. Yeah.
Unlock the Twitch chat, bringing you up. Beautiful.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Astrology, I didn't play Elden Ring for a day, but I'm going to continue today. 6:49 a.m. 6:49 a.m. Where are you, dude? Where are you?
I think India? I think you mentioned he's from India, our good buddy.
You can lock it now.
Oh, I'll lock it. 6:49 a.m. Dude, you are an early riser, and I sincerely appreciate you being here for...
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a great way to wake up with us two idiots
yeah, man.
drawing lucid shit.
I love it. Yeah, thanks again for that clip. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a lot of fun in Elden Ring right now.
Indeed.
There was a moment there that we were feeling a little bit less chuffed about the whole thing.
I still have some gripes, but now that it's hard to play, it was hard to calibrate a single player multiplayer build, but we're figuring it out.
Well, multiplayer, like we're sharing it.
Right.
But we came across a good solution, and we're having a lot more fun now. He wants to know what your gripes are. Don't get him started, but you got him started. So
yeah,
let's have it. We are going to do a full Elden Ring review, the two of us, once we're done with it. So we'll get into all of our impressions.
Do you see that? How already just having a uniform light source just makes it so much more cohesive.
It does look nice.
Okay. It's one of those things where, like, in the moment I can definitely, but the ones that I remember, big ones are like, I think, prioritizing. Okay, so if you watch our last stream, there was a moment where I wanted to go up a ladder in a pit where I was being bombarded with enemies in a pit, and the only way out of this said pit was through a ladder. But some troll decided to put a marker, a message on the ground right by the ladder, so I couldn't do the trigger. I couldn't get on the ladder because I kept triggering the message. If I was designing that, unless they did it on purpose, I would prioritize all actions above message, and then if you wanted, you can choose to do the alter action. You know, the fucking...
Reading the message?
Yeah, like, there's a way to swipe between actionable actions.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like, if there's a message right below, like, a lever or a ladder, the first thing to do, the first option should be to go up the ladder.
Right,
not to read the message. But that's a pretty minor gripe.
I know, but a lot of little things. The other gripes were just very quality of life, just janky geometry. There was a bunch of times.
Well, you really hate how the map So you use the touchscreen button to put the map up,
Right.
but
You can't
but
do
you
the
don't.
same button to
But
get
yeah,
off.
but you like logically hitting the same button should close the map, but
Yes.
it doesn't. It opens up like a help menu,
Right.
and that's stupid. Like
Yeah.
that is dumb.
And-
like once you get used to it, and like you get in the habit of just hitting circle to exit
Right.
the map, it's fine. But it's not good design because no one needs help with the map.
No. And the phrase once you get used to it is, as a designer, that is heresy. You should not have to get used to something. It should just innately be like intuitive.
He says, was that a climbable ladder though? Because I think FromSoft has prioritized the thing. Lots of messages before levers, and the first option is usually the ladder.
It was definitely.
It was no. I mean, like I'm an apologist
Yeah.
for FromSoft, but like watch our stream last night when we get into that cave. Absolutely, it was bullshit.
It was bullshit.
Like even I have to admit that was like not cool.
Yeah, and the dude who put that message down there
he knew what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing. That little troll.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. But it ended up being fine because you killed the guys down there and you got some items and everything was hunky dory.
I come from the world of this. Like I studied architecture. The world, like I learned the design language, and it's so hard to turn that off. I critique almost everything constantly. So like things that are almost totally people don't think about or care about, it like irks me to no end because like it could be better.
It was yeah, you're right, astrologer. It was in the mine. It was when we fell to the bottom of the mine and wanted to get out.
Yes.
I mean, you can see it like right in that stream. Like he was trying to get up that ladder and he couldn't because the button defaulted to reading the message.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if you had like approached the ladder from a certain angle with a pixel perfect approach, it would have been fine.
In a game like
this, where it's like every second counts, it's kind of bullshit not to prioritize the actual game action,
right? And one of FromSoft's like, it's not difficult for difficulty's sake. It's their call to arms is like it's difficult because it's challenging.
Well, the idea is challenging but fair.
Yeah, when you add shit
and that's
like
not
that,
fair.
It's not fair.
That's not fair.
That's just trolling.
No, I completely agree with that. It's like, to me, like with any game with considerable amounts of jank to it, and I include Dark Souls in that because, like, if you think about backstabbing, like if you're trying to backstab someone in combat, you don't actually backstab them straight from behind. You have to like know.
Angle.
Yeah, it's like you have to know the angle and be comfortable with it, and then you can backstab in combat. But that angle has always been from Dark Souls, I would say 2 on. It's always been kind of strange that way. Which is why, in my opinion, Bloodborne did it best. Like, don't do backstabs with R1.
That's right, R2, right?
You have to do a fully charged R2. It has to hit them in the back, and it puts them in a down state, where then you then go up to them and do the backstab.
I do remember that.
That to me is like the way you would want to do that. I don't understand why they went back to the Dark Souls 1 method in Dark Souls 3 and Eldin Ring. To me, it just seems like a regression.
Yeah.
Where Bloodborne had it much better,
more elegant, more intuitive.
More intuitive for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So it's just a bunch of little things that just piled up.
It is little things.
They're little things. On the whole, it's fine. And then larger.
It's better than fine, I think.
On the larger scale, there's a bunch of moments where I can distinctly remember I was fighting this boss. It was some dragon underground, and I had the camera facing the boss. It's the only enemy in the scene. The camera's facing him. I was definitely within range, and I hit the target enemy button, and the camera swung around behind me instead of targeting, and I got punished to hell for it.
Well, yeah, the whole idea of like the clicking the right stick in, like centering the camera, but also selecting enemies that are around.
Yeah,
that's always been a little finicky.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's the exact same like the code of it is the exact same as it was in Dark Souls 3.
I agree, and they've had all this time to fix it, so that's why I get all chuffed.
Yeah, I mean, camera issues. I mean, you're right. You're right, astrologer. Like camera issues and FromSoft are sort of synonymous.
Exactly, and I mean, but that's again, it's saying like you get used to it, but like it's the designer's job to.
Yeah, you get used to it. You have to account for it, but you shouldn't have to account for it. Yeah, and
that's like saying like you can walk in the middle of the street. You just got to account for the cars. No. Make sidewalks, you dumb fuck.
Right, but like when you're making a game this size with this many enemies and this many encounters, like doing everything in terms of the systems perfectly is sort of impossible. Like there's no way to do it in such a way that it works every single time in every single instance for every enemy in every situation. And like they do an okay job most of the time. It's just when it matters and it doesn't work, it's very frustrating because you haven't done anything wrong as the player.
Right.
And like you kind of want the game to sort of read your mind a little bit in terms of what you want to target, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not. It's hard to. That's a very hard argument to have because yes, they made the giant game, but I'm not the one that decided to make the giant game. You did. If you make that decision, you need to account for it and do your job and make sure it all works. That's like saying those shitty like mid-2000 open world games were like it's all those shitty wide open areas that were buggy as fuck, and it's like it's okay they made a giant world. That's not an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse at all. Like I mean, to me, like it really feels Elden Ring feels like they took the Dark Souls 3 engine.
It does feel like Dark Souls 3,
and they changed it in such a way that you have more options in combat. You have jumping and jumping attacks.
Yeah.
The weapon skill system has been overhauled to be these ashes that you can alter your weapons with. All those things are cool, and making it an open world rather than very linear makes it, can make it, enormously expansive, and that's. And it's a very large game. I mean, it is
definitely.
It's like in terms of the amount of content for money that you're getting out of Elden Ring versus a Dark Souls 3, which you pay the same amount of money for.
Yeah.
You are getting a lot more game out of it. But it's a pity, I think, that they haven't gone the extra mile in terms of updating that combat system, because it really is Dark Souls 3 open world in such a size that it feels like Dark Souls, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, that's really gonna, scratch the itch.
Yeah, it's gonna hit the mark. It's gonna be enough.
And if the most recent FromSoft game you've played is Dark Souls 3, you're gonna have a really good time.
You're gonna slot right in.
But if you've played a game like Sekiro,
which I did,
which is more recent and done by a different team, a different FromSoft team than Elden Ring, you're gonna have a very different experience. Like Eric and I really loved Sekiro.
I love Sekiro.
We loved the combat in it. We felt like it was a true evolution of combat and responsiveness, and going back, and Elden Ring feels like a step backwards, back to Dark Souls 3 in terms of
safer.
Yeah, and it's the safer move, and Sekiro is a game where there is no specking, right?
No,
you have one sword.
It's more of like if it's FromSoft's version of like Zelda.
Yeah, and having played both, Dark Souls 3 quite a bit and Sekiro quite a bit, it's clear that the team that made Sekiro was not involved in Elden Ring.
No, they were. They put jumping in.
I wouldn't say that that's like. but I would have preferred a more Sekiro style game.
Yeah.
But given that that's not what they intended and not what they produced,
It's also, I mean, that's really hard to make a multiplayer. Like Sekiro is obviously a one-on-one duelist, but in the same way Sekiro moved pushed the needle forward, I would have liked to see
yeah.
a little bit more of
But
a,
like you couldn't have magic or faith builds in
right.
Sekiro. It
Right.
just wouldn't have worked. And they wanted to make a game that was a lot more varied in terms of its
Right.
build possibility.
I mean, I see the logic. I get what they're doing. And it's not a bad game. I'm having a lot of fun. It's a very good game. There's just some moments where like I just see cracks. I see cracks in the armor.
For sure. And like for instance, my wife, who she beat Sekiro and didn't like it as much as either of us did. She went back and replayed Dark Souls 3
and went fucking cleaned house.
Clean house on
Yeah,
Dark Souls 3
exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought.
and beat Gale and the Soul of Cinder.
Isn't that funny how that works?
And you know, watching her play Eldin Ring, she like because Dark Souls 3 was the last thing she played, she's doing so well.
Yeah.
Because she's used to that sort of combat.
Yeah.
And if she had played Sekiro more recently, I feel like she'd have a rougher time of it.
Yeah.
But like watching her play and fight the bosses, she's doing all the things she did in Dark Souls 3 to win, and she's doing a really fantastic job.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I did the opposite. I played Sekiro, and I'm like going in here. At first, I was like, I want to play Sekiro, and it did not work. Can we talk about how, dude, lighting is awesome. I have played both Sekiro and Dark Souls 3. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so have we. I platinumed both of those games.
Hold on, I'm sorry. We haven't. I've been so focused on pixels.
No, I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat.
I haven't been here. I mean, mainstream games get these things right, but are so crazy. You're speaking to the choir.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, like we're nitpicking FromSoft games, but we would rather play a FromSoft game that has all these problems than any other action RPG.
I only critique because I love it.
Yeah.
If I didn't love it, it wouldn't even give my time of day to like. It's not worth talking about.
Right. Exactly. But I love Sekiro. I really, really love it.
Dude, you and I remember. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I was the first herald of that game when I was like, dude, this game fucking rocks.
No, I got it on launch, and you got it on launch, and we both were like, holy shit.
Was it our friend who we were trying to convert?
Yes.
I see, okay.
We had a mutual friend who was a Dark Souls kind of like aficionado who, you know, had played Dark Souls games since Dark Souls 1 and had played it for 1,000,000 fucking hours.
Probably.
And he could not get into Sekiro. And I think that his problem was that he wanted Sekiro to be another Dark Souls, and it wasn't. And so that disappointed him.
Yeah. And
for me and for Eric, we accepted Sekiro for what it was and enjoyed it on those terms. And once you accept that, you can find that the combat is a lot cleaner.
It's not so much accept. I don't want to use the word accept because we're just.
It is acceptance, though.
It's not. I mean, I guess, but I was just griping on of like accepting design for what it is, and that's not a good excuse. I didn't accept it. It's like I realized what it was.
Right, but once you realize what it is, you have to play the game.
You realize and accept, I guess.
But you have to play the game that you're playing. You don't. If you try to play Eldin Ring like Sekiro, you're going to get stomped.
Right.
You have to play the game that you're playing.
Where am I?
And like he tried to play Sekiro like a Dark Souls game with dodging and all of that stuff. And Sekiro just demands that you play it the way that it wants you to be playing it.
Yeah.
And Eldin Ring the same way, where
FromSoft even like did their very best to try to do that. Like they designed many of the levels specifically like, we know you're playing Dark Souls, you can't play Dark Souls. Like there's a bunch of enemies that like you think you can strafe, and then they have a
Oh yeah.
move to fuck with you.
Oh yeah. It's like they've certainly created a situation where you can't just like circle strafe an enemy and backstab them into oblivion. Like there are the enemies are just gonna fuck you up if you try to do that.
Yeah.
Astrologer says, you know what's funny? I like Sekiro's combat, but the game world feels kind of streamlined. I would agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I think that's a good thing.
I agree with that, but I think it was the right move. Exactly. It's more like when I play that game, it feels more video gamey and less like storybook. Like a lot of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, it feels like I'm playing an interactive story. Where Sekiro is more of like, this is a video game. And it felt like I was doing runs. It felt like Star Fox, where like you're trying to like do perfect runs. You're trying to like do it as fast as you can. It was less about like being meticulous and like just going ham and having fun.
So Astrologer says, I think a person who likes Dark Souls 3 likes it for the world.
That's exactly
Sekiro's world feels less deep.
Dude, we're saying literally the same thing.
I mean,
I love
it feels less deep in that it's less. The story is much
secondary.
More. Well, it's secondary, but like the point, the thematics of it are clearer. Like it's very much like
there's less ambiguity.
The thematics of Sekiro are very, very clear. Like the idea of stagnation, and progress, and that. I mean, the genius of Sekiro is that like it's a commentary on FromSoft games.
That's exactly
where stagnation and doing the same thing over and over again is the enemy.
Yeah,
and that's why Sekiro is such a masterpiece, because it went a step further to avoid that stagnation and give us something really new that's just as engaging, just as challenging, or more challenging, but that same like feeling of accomplishment when you beat a boss, when you really learn a boss, all those things
There's mastery in that game.
Yeah, the mastery of Sekiro feels a lot better than the mastery of a Dark Souls 3 or even a Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But Bloodborne, to me,
that's a pinnacle story.
Like Bloodborne and Sekiro are similarly focused in terms of their stories and their thematics. Like Bloodborne is a much shorter game than a Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2, and it's very clear what the thematics are. You know, Bloodborne is about like the duality of man and how like that the dichotomy between knowledge that makes someone go insane with the knowledge of like the elder gods, and then the opposite end of the spectrum of like the bestial nature, where like man is enlightened versus man as becoming a beast, and the enlightened part is exemplified in like the Lovecraftian horror elements, and the bestial part is exemplified in the
horror.
Bram Stoker classic horror stuff. And that's why it was so successful to me, because it wasn't this expansive lore story. It was much more about the thematics.
Yeah. It was also such a creative take on like the two mainstays of horror. Like that was so creative to take.
The bait and switch was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like we think you're going to like a Bram Stoker book, and then all of a sudden, like
there's tentacle monsters.
Yeah, tentacle monsters there to like opening up rifts into the fucking heavens and bringing down like stars on you.
It was so cool.
Bloodborne is my favorite Souls-like game, but I exclude Sekiro from that list because it's so much its own kind of monster.
Yeah.
Where like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 have a lot of shared DNA, but of course like the most interesting distinctions are no shield, the regain mechanic.
Yeah.
You having to be much more aggressive, much more dodge oriented. And that's what makes, I think the combat that FromSoft designs its games around was more successful in Bloodborne than it was in Dark Souls 3. But of course, the conversation also becomes about quantity versus quality, where Bloodborne, again, you can beat in an afternoon if you know what you're doing. But Dark Souls 3, takes it quite a bit longer to get through. And so it's like, would you rather have a better game or more game? Would you rather have
quality of
like
quantity.
Fewer weapons, but they're all unique, or more weapons, but a lot of them have the same move sets?
No, I will almost always be quality over quantity.
No, and I agree as well. But I think that with Eldin Ring, that sort of throws Dark Souls 3 completely out the fucking window.
Yeah, because
now
Dark
you're
Souls 3 with an immeasurable amount of quantity.
Right, but Eldin Ring has so much more quantity than Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine, now that Eldin Ring is out, going back to Dark Souls 3.
Because, like, what's the draw? Why would you ever go to Dark Souls 3 when there's
so much more
so
shit
much more
in Eldin Ring?
Dark Souls 3 and
exactly. And so trying to compare Bloodborne to Elden Ring is really difficult because, a great game that you can play in an afternoon versus another great game that you can play for hours and hours and hours and hours, like days and days and days and days, what's better?
Yeah. It's really exactly its context. It's like, what do you want to play right now?
Right, exactly. I mean, Bloodborne was also my first FromSoft game, so I have like a soft spot for it. But I would rather play Bloodborne than Dark Souls 3 any day of the week.
Yeah.
But there are problems with that as well because like Bloodborne is short, it's very focused, and if you want to play with some of the more interesting weapons, you have to get into the DLC. You have to get pretty far.
The person playing Dark Souls 3 will play it for the tighter and world. For the tighter world?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about like the intricacy of the world building, I grant you that like Dark Souls has a deeper mythology.
Well, I think they have the benefit of having two other games to build it up, though.
That's true. Dark Souls 3 does really feel like the culmination of the thematics.
Where Bloodborne was able to rival Dark Souls 3 in a single game.
No, I think the story of Bloodborne and the thematics of Bloodborne are far better than Dark Souls. Any of the Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. It's hard to fault them because I wonder when they were making the first Dark Souls. I don't know if they had in their mind they're like, I think we're gonna get 3 of these or 2 more.
Astrologer says it says Dark Souls 3 has tighter levels and world. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Interesting.
I think that the first level of Bloodborne, the Central Yardom,
oh yeah,
is probably the best level that FromSoft has ever designed in a game. The interconnectivity, the amount of places you can go before you fight either of the 2 bosses in there.
So I haven't played in a minute. However, Ace, if you have some examples, I'd love to hear them.
I mean, I don't think that there's any level in Dark Souls 3 that rivals the best of Bloodborne.
Because in my remembrance of Bloodborne, it felt like I was playing a more polished Dark Souls, like an infinitely more polished Dark Souls 1.
Oh, you're saying that Dark Souls 3 has tighter levels and world than Elden Ring, not Bloodborne.
I'd agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
So far, at least.
I don't honestly. I really don't think they're gonna change it up enough. Because
we've only played through 2 legacy dungeons.
Fair.
So if you're trying, if like the legacy dungeons of Elden Ring are supposed to be analogous to like the levels in a Dark Souls game, we've only done 2, and so far those 2 levels were very interconnected, very dense, very complicated, and very good.
I guess okay.
Lucario was really fucking good.
So here's the deal. Even though it's like your average grade in school, right? So let's say you take, because Elden Ring has, if a dungeon is a test, because Elden Ring has say 50 tests, if they're getting zeros on like half of those tests.
But what are you comparing it to? Because like Bloodborne had the Chalice dungeons, and I feel like you can compare those dungeons to like the caves and shit in Elden Ring, in terms of their complexity, their copy pasting.
Yeah, but the Chalice is so. I know you can argue that the caves in Elden Ring are.
They're basically Chalice. They're basically Chalice dungeons.
They're optional, but they're not optional. They're like, you're gonna do them. It's just random which one you're gonna do. Where the Chalice dungeons, you don't have to do them.
Right.
So,
but the challenges, you're right, Astrologer, that the challenges, the challenge dungeons, at least the pre-built ones, not the random ones,
right,
are more complex
yep,
on average than, you know, a random Elden Ring cave.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see a little bit of the repetition in Elden Ring.
Well, I think with every open world game, you get to the point where you begin to see not the copy paste, but like the repetition in terms
like
of
the literal gameplay loop.
Right, where like every ruin area has some sort of way to go down to get an item.
Because every cave, literally every single mine cave we do now,
has the lift, and the places to jump off
I know
of the
to
lift.
look to the left and the right of the lift. Like, at least change it up, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's any thread of them going the Ubisoft route. I mean, Ubisoft is...
I just hope FromSoft doesn't go the Ubi... what do you mean, man? What do you mean, Ace?
Well, that means just like everything is copy pasted. It's just like...
Oh, you mean like...
content for the sake of just more and more content. And I never feel like that.
I don't get that feeling as well.
Yeah, it's like I
just think they were crunched for time.
I don't think it's a time crunch, really. I think it's...
resources.
Yeah, maybe.
What character is this? Oh, wait, is that...
Oh, this is Alejandro. Alejandro, welcome. Welcome to the... Welcome.
I need to change our chat's all green, and everyone's got A's right now, and I can't see it. Sorry, buddy.
He says, Eric, how's it going?
Dude! It's going well, man. I'm in a pretty friggin' good mood. My back's feeling so much better. I'm, like, really starting to get a good grip on... Have you checked out the Sprite, by the way? Look at the
He's looking great.
Light source is like really coming in the clutch right now.
So Alejandro, you I'm guessing you didn't come to the last stream, but I'll fill you in.
Yeah.
This is the Scribe. This is one of the NPCs that you're going to meet in the Sentinel camp in Lucid, who gives you the bestiary, who translates tablets and scrolls that you find in the world to give you information about locations and enemies and possibly bosses too. And he's a friend of Owen's.
And a friend of Paul.
Yeah, and Astrologer is kind of right that this is basically me in game.
Yes.
In sort of like a stylized, heightened kind of way.
A caricature.
I am not this large.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, man. This is
I do have a beard though.
There's a bunch of like
and longish hair.
Yeah, there's
not a schnoz like that though. That's kind of beyond the pale.
This is a little bit anti-Semitic of me. Not gonna lie, I'm so sorry. I just, if anyone's seen any sketchbook of mine, I love drawing characters this way. This is how I draw characters. It has nothing to do with your Jewish heritage, my friend. I love and cherish you.
I don't take it personally. I'm not this large. This what she didn't want to hear. My wife is okay with it.
Hey man, to each their own.
My wife loves me just the way I am.
Oh, that's so special. Everybody, isn't that so special? That's so cute.
My wife.
My wife. Oh man,
we're both very lucky to have significant others that support us in our game creating endeavors.
Big time, big.
My wife is actually playing Elden Ring too.
Oh, yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but she beat Dark Souls 3 just a couple months ago, including the DLC, and she's absolutely having a blast with Elden Ring because it's basically Dark Souls 3 writ large.
Yeah.
Oh, astrologer, you can push it as far as you want, man. We are.
Oh yeah.
We are immune. It's like in a Dark Souls game. We have a high resistance to offense.
Yeah, man. Where I'm from, or where we're from, friends. You know, people are friends when they like bust each other's balls. I remember I had a buddy who went to Japan. He ended up like being an English teacher in Japan, and he was doing the same thing. And all his Japanese friends were like, "Why are you being so mean to us?" And he's like, "You're my friends. I'm supposed to make like bust your balls."
Yeah, not to get too far into like the historiography, but he's from New Jersey and I'm from New York. If we can't take a joke, nobody can.
Yeah. This is a this is a safe space for not thinking it's a safe space. So go ham. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
it's a safe.
I don't condone any crazy shit, but you know what I mean. In good
Yeah,
taste.
I mean, yeah, keep it in good taste. But yeah, we have thick skins around here.
Yeah, man.
I mean, speaking of thick, look at this fucking guy.
This fucking unit.
Thick boy.
Thick bruh.
It's funny too, because like I'm going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm getting smaller every day, and there's going to be my insert character who's just like me at my COVID largest.
He's not supposed to be like big. He's just like a.
He's a fucking unit, man.
He's a Hulk of a man. He's not. He's just a burly dude.
Psycho Ramen, welcome.
Psycho Ramen. Oh, my friend. Oh, thank you so much for coming, man. Everybody, Psycho Ramen. He's the official Lucid artist.
Promo artist, yeah.
Yeah, he's our character artist. He's done all the promo art of. Actually, I say all the. I mean, all the promo art that I haven't released yet. There's a whole bunch that Psycho's been. Psycho, you are a fantastic specimen. I love you, buddy. I'm very excited to share your art with everyone once we get it all sorted.
Yeah, I mean his art is. I mean,
dude,
Psycho, you don't know me. I'm Aaron, the Scribe. And I was one of the judges of the art contest. And I was so impressed with your work. I think it was, so detailed and so fantastic and so in line with our vision of Owen and the world that, I couldn't help but give you the highest marks I could. And I'm so excited to have you on the team developing our promo art.
Yeah, I don't know if actually Psycho. I don't know if I ever actually told you this, but when I was a little starter fledgling on Instagram, I stumbled upon your page and I saw your work, and I stumbled upon your work, Psycho, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is exactly like the vibe and the proportions and the feel. Like,
so you're saying it's a dream come true that he's come to work for us.
Like I remember audibly saying like, this is exactly.
Oh, and Sketchman's here. Sketchman.
Everybody's here.
Sketchman, welcome.
I don't want to lose my train of thought, but I also want to say Sketchman.
Welcome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming.
Welcome. We're happy you're here.
If you were you here in the last stream, Sketchman?
I believe he was.
I believe you were, but we're continuing on the Scribe, my insert character.
Yeah, I gotta finish my train of thought, man. Psycho, you were like my favorite artist, and then the fact that we're working together is a dream come true. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Sketchman, how is everybody doing? Everyone's popping into chat. Psycho, how are you doing? Sketchman, how are you doing? I know how Ace is doing. He's old news. Fuck you.
Well, he's waking up, man. Give the guy a break. It's like 7 o'clock where he is.
So true. I can't believe he's watching us at that morning. Sketchman, greetings. Your art is so cool. Agreed, Sketchman. He's a freaking legend.
He's a fucking bro.
Friggin' legend. Okay. Right now, so my mini mission right now is I've been trying to make the light source cohesive throughout. Before it was kind of like getting shapes and colors, and this is all new to me, guys. Like I'm usually doing all this work alone, like sketching alone in my room. So interacting with Aaron and you guys, it's I don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome. I
Yeah,
love
I'm
it.
a pretty new member of the Matt Black Studio team. I mean, I was brought on to do the writing, and Eric has of course been working on this game for how long? You been starting since you started this game?
I mean,
A
the
decade?
concept of Lucid began about a decade ago. But in its most recent iteration, it's only been kind of around for
Yeah,
like
but Eric and I worked on
year and a half.
Antimatter, the board game, which is a game um, that I made, and he did provided exceptional art for all across the board, and that partnership became a real friendship that has evolved into what Matt Black Studio is now, which is the two of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sketchman saw the Batman. How is the
Oh,
Batman?
dude, I want to see that.
Do you want to go see it in the theaters? I'll see it with
I
you.
mean, I get. Okay, so after living in a world where I don't need to go to the theater, I never want to go to theater again. However, if it's only in the theater,
It's only in theater.
I guess I'll have to.
Let's the four of us go to the theater.
I really don't think my lady's gonna want to see that. However, I still want to see that.
I think my lady is going to want to see that.
That's
so
fine.
one of the three of us go to the theater and we'll go check it out.
We could try that. But yeah, I've been this is like the first Batman where they're really leaning into like his detectiveness.
It's much more year one, right?
I think it's two. Like he's been Batman for I think 2 years.
Yeah, but like Batman year one.
Oh, you mean? Got it. Yeah. I'm very much looking forward. How'd you like it, man? I never want to go to the theater. Yeah, dude.
The astrologer says that he was analyzing your Twitter profile, and you've been at it for at least 6 years since the first character art was in 2016.
Damn,
2016. Dude. That was before we met.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Thanks, man. I know I made the Twitter a bit later. I have sketchbooks like around 2015, but I think the Twitter, you're right, 2016. Yeah, Lucid's been kind of this idea. And if you look at my old Lucid stuff, it looks nearly nothing like what it is now. Long story short, I have a few podcast interviews that I've told this story on, and I'm sure it's going to be repeated. But long story short, I was on a walk with the dog and my fiance, and she was talking about whatever happened to that project you were working on, and I said, oh, I had to put it on hold. It was kind of consuming my life. It was, I get tunnel vision. It's just who I am, and it was kind of like deteriorating some relationships and.
Well, plus you had to spend some time working on antimatter.
Yeah, there's just things that life got in the way, is what I like to say. And she says, I think you should pick it up again. You were so happy doing it, and it was my favorite thing you were ever doing. And I said, you know what, you're right. I had been tossing around the idea of like I've been wanting to get into Unity, so I used this as an excuse to learn Unity. Year and a half later, here we are, boys and girls, and I couldn't be happier. I'm so jazzed to be making Lucid. I've met so many fucking cool people. I've gotten such a warm reception to it. Guys, I can't tell you enough how weird it is to have an idea that you just kind of do in your room alone for like 2-3 years, and then you put it out there and people are like, hey, that's pretty cool. And then you're just like, oh, thank you so much. And they're like, hey, this is really cool. I'm like, thanks a lot. That makes me feel good. You're like, yo, this is fucking awesome. You're like, oh my God, I feel so chuffed right now.
Yeah, and when Eric and I got together to make our board game Antimatter, we really had this dream of making a company where it's all about friends making the games they want to make, and our friendship kind of evolved from working together on that game, and we realized that the two of us were capable of making something like Lucid, with, of course, Eric as the designer, the developer, and me as the writer. And I've just been so proud of how far he's come since he's gotten back into it, and I've been trying to help him as much as I can in any way I can, throughout this process. And the Scribe is sort of a emblematic example of, how we've incorporated the development of the game and the writing of the game together.
It's 3-hour movie, so if you're going to see a movie later on, free up as much space to watch this one, just like Avengers Endgame. Good to know, good to know.
3-hour movie.
Yeah.
3-hour Batman movie.
I heard it's like 2.5. Well,
Jesus.
It's a hefty one, but I heard it moves. But Sketch, did you like it? And then also, the dev community is awesome. I can't disagree with that. Everyone I meet is awesome. It's almost like you walk in and it's like it's quiet. It's too quiet. You walk in and you're like, it's nice. It's too nice.
But it's a community that runs on dreams. It's
It's
like you had your career and I had my career, and we decided to, switch gears and make games because those are the things that we love.
It took a lot to take the plunge because I was lucky enough to have a support system to allow it. Not many people are lucky enough to do that, and I'm very grateful.
That's absolutely true.
I'm having trouble with this hair right now. Kind of looks like a butt. Guys, the top of his head kind of looks like a butt. Like there's a butt cheek that just wants to...
Are you calling my hair butt hair?
I'm literally calling you a butt head. It looks like there's a fart right here. Like
I just feel like every criticism you have about this character is directed towards me.
Look at this. There's like a turd coming out of his head right here.
Well, you have to draw that turd.
I did have to draw that turd just to illustrate my point. I mentioned that above. Oh, sorry, Sketch.
Great movie, you said.
Great movie. Thank you. It's I have shitty eyes, and it's a tiny print, and it's over there. I apologize, I couldn't see it. Aaron, that's on you, man.
I read it. You were the one who asked him how we felt about it. I knew how we felt about it.
Well, you're supposed to tell me. You're supposed to be the man in the box, the man in the chair, the Oracle.
Is that what I am now?
Yeah, what's the Batman? I'm the Batman, and you're the Oracle.
You mean the paraplegic Barbara Gordon?
Yeah, dude.
That's who I am to you
Yeah,
now?
man. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Sketchman says there are a couple of movies that I'm looking forward to seeing in a movie theater, both mainstream and special events. What are you looking forward to, man?
Yeah, I understand. There are some movies like are better in a theater. It's like a roller coaster. Like
I really wanted to see Spider-Man in the theater. I didn't go because I didn't want to die.
Right. Right.
Like, I love Spider-Man movies, but like...
I need to look at this for a sec. Okay, keep going.
It just wasn't worth it to like get COVID in a theater
really
full of people and die.
I've had a few friends who got COVID and they lost their sense of smell and taste, and
I need those.
Those are things I really enjoy, and
I love tasting things.
I like to taste things. Like
smelling things, I can take or leave, but tasting things.
Okay, here's one. Chat, guys, of your senses, of your 5 senses, what's your favorite one? Or no, even better, of your 5 senses, what's one you could do without? I'd love to know. For me, let's see, what sense can I do without? It's probably smell. I'm going to go smell, because even though there are delicious smells, I can still taste them. Oh, but it's tied to taste. Fuck. Yeah, but I need my physical... I got to pick one. I'm going to say smell. What do you guys say? Yeah, smell? Right? It does, like, hinder your taste, but if you're going to lose your taste, what's the point of smelling? You could lose your sense of touch. I know, but touching, sometimes you need the touch to, you know what I'm talking about, when you're with your lady or your man or your person, you need to have that touch. I mean, I think you do. I do. Exactly.
I think if taste and smell were divorced from each other,
that would make it so much
I would throw away smell
in a heartbeat. God damn it! It keeps looking like a butt.
Then just fuse it, man.
I was about to say
my hair doesn't look like that.
Maybe it was just fusing it. I think it was just fusing it. Yeah, it was just fusing it. It was just that simple, guys. It was just that simple. Let's see. Okay, let's take a second and admire it. All right, hey, on top of the chat, how do we like this guy? Are we liking him so far? Do we like the Scribe? Am I in the right direction? Am I fucking up royally? That looks like a fancy bra now. Oh no, I knew it. You're hitting it where it hurts, man. It does look like a bra. I'm trying to mitigate this. I think it's this crease in the middle.
Yes, that's doing it.
Like, do we just do a helmet? Maybe it's just a helmet.
Oh, put him in give him a nice helmet, man.
No.
That's better. That's better.
This is better.
That's better.
I think it's just giving.
The crease was really.
It was
what
the crease,
doing
guys. Is this better? The beard is red. For now, the beard is red, my friend. It's really more about like in the blocking phase when I was doing the color differentials. It was really just so I can see the contrast.
So just so you guys know, my beard is the same color as my hair, but it does have accents of red in it.
Mine does too. When the sun hits it just right, there's like little speckles of red. Let me see it. The old ladies with bob cut. A-OK just for now. Makes it feel like an old lady from Pixar movies, the crooked kind.
I'll like that. I'll like that at all.
Wait, what makes it look like a crooked lady? Who's a crooked lady? Are you a thief, Aaron? Are you a thieving old lady?
No. I think you should make the beard the same color as the hair with red highlights the way that you have.
We're definitely getting there. You know what? Okay.
Let's do it right now.
Let's say you guys... Let me go back. It's amazing what a single pixel will do. All right, let's tackle the beard. Okay, so obviously, I'm gonna start here. Thing is, I don't want to even. What if we do this? Too light.
Too light. It was better before.
So it's gotta do this. Highlights are red. It looks like you have teeth.
No, the red should be the same color that the red beard was before.
The dark red.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate that. I think it was this red. Let's try it.
Yeah, that'll do. Rest of the dots? You missed a couple.
Yeah, I see it.
But that's definitely more like me. I think I'm not as hairy as this, you guys, I swear.
Okay. Let me play around with this for a sec.
So the question is Lucid is going to be a kind of Metroidvania, and Astrologer says it's going to be a Metroidvania, and so I would say that kind of. So it kind of depends on what you define it as. Like that genre has sort of become a pretty broad one, where like. Is Symphony of the Night a Metroidvania or is it a Castlevania? The classics. I mean, you know what I mean. So like, so ability gated areas is how Metroidvanias are defined.
Ability gated areas is how.
So there are.
Yeah. See, even that by that dude.
It's not because it
is and it's not.
What's it? What can I explain?
I mean, go for it. Try to do it as succinctly as possible.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so by and large, the areas in Lucid are not ability gated. Like, you aren't going to get a new ability and then want to go back through the entire game to see what you now have access to now that you have, let's say, the Crystal Spear, which gives you upward mobility past your jump ability.
Uh-huh.
There are areas of the game where, in order to have access to it, you need one ability among many. Where, like, if you get the Crystal Spear, you'd be able to get past it. But if you went to a different biome first and got the Crystal Axe, you'd also be able to get past it. In a slightly different way.
Yeah, so in a sense, it's by definition an ability gated area. By definition,
but in my memory, there's only one, right?
By definition, Metroidvania is defined by, or by this definition, ability gated. So they are ability gated. However, there are multiple abilities that act as a single kick.
Yeah.
So an area has one requirement, and it is to have one of X amount of crystal arts. So you have multiple options to the same lock. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you are making it like Zelda, where you can get to the end without any upgrades. You are correct. Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
No, you can't get to the end without any upgrades because you're gonna.
No,
you fight Cell. You're gonna get.
Oh, I guess that's technically an upgrade.
So just by playing through the game and completing all the biomes, the triggers that allow you to get to the end game, you will get upgrades.
Yeah, there is inherently upgrades, but like things like missile, the equivalent to like Metroidvania, like missile expansion or health upgrades, you can do a clean run without getting them, but you're gonna have to get.
It's much more like Mega Man in this way,
exactly.
Where in order to get to the final level, you need to beat all of the other levels at least once in their initial state.
Right.
And so
that's the Mega Man.
In the way that you get upgrades when you beat Mega Man bosses, so you get like the boss's ability that they use on you. So that's an upgrade similar to what we're doing in Lucid, but instead of it being just like a new kind of projectile for your buster, it's something that enhances your mobility and your capability in combat because they're different crystal arts. So a crystal art like the spear, which I'm sure you've seen in the trailer, is not only a way to get a little bit more upward mobility and to reach platforms you couldn't reach with just a few jumps. You can also hit enemies that are above and below you and sort of, pogo stick on them a little bit. And so like it's much more that like each boss and not boss, each biome is going to give you upgrades that upgrade you holistically. And so reaching the end without any of those upgrades isn't possible.
Right. I was not paying attention to that. I hope that made sense to you guys. I'm really enjoying this. I forgot this one color, this transition right here.
So he's just in Breath of the Wild. You can go beat the game without any upgrades at all.
So yeah,
that's true.
It's true.
That's
yeah,
true.
so this is not doing that. I'm sorry, guys. Now I feel bad.
Oh, but it's not more linear than a Metroidvania at all. In fact, it's a lot less linear.
That's where I was. So when you mentioned Breath of the Wild, I got super excited because that's what I was talking. Like you can go anywhere you want in any order.
Yeah, it's not like you don't get the crystal spear first, and then the crystal axe, and then the other upgrade and the other upgrade.
Right.
You can choose to like from.
You can go. It's like Mega Man X. You can pick instead of going to a stage select. You go to the stage you want to.
Yeah.
In an open world fashion.
And that's not only going to be a new biome with characters you can interact with stories that you can advance. Each of them contains a dungeon that you go through that gives you a new upgrade, similar to a Zelda dungeon, getting the upgrade in the chest, and then you can fight a boss.
Right.
But in Lucid, you can get the upgrade and just get out of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And bring that upgrade just to the dungeon you had already tried but couldn't quite beat.
Exactly. The dungeons in Lucid are unique in that in multiple portions of the dungeon, there are like exits. So like you can enter and exit different parts of the dungeon from different parts of the overworld. They're super interconnected in that way. And extending from that, there's a bunch of like, so you know how in a lot of like games you'll have a little mini quest or a route, like in in Eldin Ring, you'll find something where at the end there's an item. Instead of an item, there's maybe a switch, and you pull the switch, and now all of a sudden the dungeon of that biome has an easier platforming, like an extra platform to help with the room, or like no enemies in some room. Like the exterior affects the interior of dungeons.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about the game is that like if you explore the overworld really in a completionist kind of way, finding all the secrets, you'll be able to influence the dungeons and how they play
Right,
out.
and by that, it's a built-in difficulty setting where it's not so much you can just make it easier, but like if you do more of the outside game, you make other parts of it easier. And like those routes are not an insanely difficult route. It's just like a pretty middle of the road route, just to play more of the game and learn the mechanics.
So Alejandro says, "Oh wow, so much less linear,
Way less
linear, and not only."
And that affects the story writing as well.
That's what I was about to say.
We have many iterations where like you go to some place and different things happen based on other things you've done in different dungeons. Very Mega Man X like when you beat Shield Penguin in Mega Man X, all of a sudden you go to Flame Mammoth's level and all the lava's frozen over. A bunch of stuff like that.
But also in the story sense, where
yes, that's it.
Where like if you've completed a quest line in say, can I name the biomes?
Hey chat, do you want to hear what biome names are? Or do you want spoilers in any sense? Let us know. Oh,
He also wants to know how long it's going to be, but we'll get to that.
That's harder to say.
I know it's hard to say, but we can estimate.
No spoilers.
Okay, all right. So I'll just be very vague.
Yes.
So if you do, so we have a sort of intended path mapped out where,
of course,
we're like, there's no first level, but just like in Dark Souls, you can go
Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, in Breath of the Wild, you can go down into the catacombs and get your ass beat by fighting more tough enemies that are higher level than you, or you can go the intended route of going through the Undead Burg, where things are more or less handleable by someone who's just starting the game.
Basically, they're skill checks that insinuate or suggest the way to go.
But like we wanted to keep the option for people who get very, very good at the game.
If this is your third or fourth playthrough and you know how to beat those things,
go
right ahead.
Like maybe the hardest power to get is locked behind the most difficult. It's locked behind the most difficult boss, but it's the most powerful item as an upgrade. Someone who's very good at the game is going to want to go for that item first,
right,
to make the rest of the game easier. But they have to be good enough to beat the hardest, the boss of the most difficult biome in order to do that.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, what I was going to say was that, like, from a story perspective, if you complete the first biome, the first intended biome, and then you reach the second or third biome, there are characters there who are gonna know that you've completed the first biome and like done what you've done there and influenced the world the way that you have. And so they're going to interact with you in a very different way because of that knowledge. And as you have a larger and larger effect on the world through going through all the biomes, you're really going to feel like your actions have changed this world to the better from a narrative perspective.
Yeah, you're going to feel very, or I hope to make people feel like they have some ownership on the changing of the world.
Sketchman says, I imagine that Lucid will be a game that uses a lot of Metroidvania inspiration from Metroid, Castlevania, Mega Man, and more. I totally agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Those are the predecessors.
It's what I played. It's what made me want to make. If I didn't love those games, I wouldn't want to make a game
in the first place.
Yeah,
and neither of us would have bonded over the games that we played if we didn't love them the way that we do.
Yeah,
like we're trying to stand on the shoulders of the giants from whom we've learned, and make a game that pays homage to them at the same time as it brings new ideas that they didn't conceive because they had to work within limitations that don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
like. Celeste wasn't a game that was out when Symphony of the Night was released. If it had been, then Symphony of the Night may have had those, crystals that give you crazy jumps.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Thank God they didn't, because I got to it first.
What I'm saying is that, like, Metroid games could have also had things like that.
Yeah.
It's like all the progress in side-scrollers, indie and AAA in the last 25 years... They're all going into Lucid.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, thanks to them, I can hopefully we can hopefully make a better game.
So Alejandro wants to know if we're going to post more gameplays of Lucid in the near future.
Yes. So
Yeah, you bet we are.
yes, it's hard. I know I want to post that content, and I have the content, but the time to edit that video is so much time that I'm not a very good video editor. I don't know how to do that fast. So luckily, Aaron's wife Ari and even Una's my fiance is going to potentially help do some cuts.
And we would be nowhere without the support of our beloved partners.
Mm-hmm.
They support us, and they have skills. They're artists in their own right entirely, and they're going to help us throughout the process in any way they can.
They're super support. But all to say that hopefully, and it will be soon. Gameplay is coming. I have a video that I want to do an axe showcase. I want to do similar to what I did with the Crystal Slash. It was kind of like all the up B, down B, side Bs of all of it. I want to flesh out the axe. I also did the spear.
I'm really excited for you guys to see the Crystal Axe. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot more than what's shown in the trailer and on Instagram. And like,
it's one of my favorites.
I mean, like for someone who enjoys Smash a lot, even though I'm nowhere as good as Eric is, like seeing Owen build out this move set that's so varied and that's so responsive, that's so like multifaceted. Like, you know, in Smash, like everyone has a recovery, right? But their recoveries can be an attack, it could be a teleport,
right.
It could be
a tether.
It could be any number of things that have any number of other, you know, aspects to it. Exactly.
It's not only an attack, or it's not usually only an attack, but it's also a
which is why I really think the axe is cool, because it is an attack. It's very powerful against enemies.
Yeah.
But like using it as like a drop onto enemies.
Yeah.
And to like
it's also break through floors and
break through floors, but also to hit, you know, kind of weirdly placed crystals by using its swing the PBAOE ability.
It's a great for extending tool for extending crystal chains.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be fun to see how different crystal arts, you know, evolve into different styles of traversal. Like, I wonder which the speedrunners might use.
Yeah,
which combination is it going to be, like Crystal Slash and Crystal Axe or Crystal Spear? Which one are they going to go through first?
Ideally, they're going to be cycling a whole bunch. That's kind of the name of the game. There's enemies designed in such a way that you need to use a certain tactic with one crystal art and then transition to another. And in later game, there's going to be some that require you to transition to 3. So not only do you have to hit them with the 1-2. By the way, I'm pretty sure this is something else I'm going to post eventually, but at any time, Owen can have 2 crystal arts. So he can have a spear or a slash, or he can have a spear and the axe. Kind of like the Link's Awakening, where you can have 2 of Link's tools at disposal. You can have 2 crystal arts. But you can open up a Doom-style menu select where you can use the stick to like quickly select another
in midair.
Art. In midair, it slows time down, so you have time to decide what you want to do or what weapon you want to use.
And it also gives you time to figure out how you're going to manage this obscene combo that you're planning.
Right, and you can also map out the room when you have waves of enemies. But that's all to say that you can hit them with an axe, then you have to switch to the spear, and then a thing pops out, and you have to hit them with the slash. So not only are you going to be using these things to chain combos in the air to like get to secret and awesome spots, you're going to have to use these chains in combat and end in tandem. So it's been crazy fun to play and develop. Not going to.
It is fun to play. I mean, Eric's a little biased.
What? What?
But as someone who's like number one, I mean not number one, but like on my top 5 favorites, A Symphony of the Night, a true Metroidvania by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Lucid does feel good.
That was one of my things. Like on the offset, I'm like it has to feel good to play.
Yeah, everything else is sort of. I mean, like even though 99% of the rest of it is like what you work on.
Mm-hmm.
That 1% that's like how it feels. So
Yeah.
let's like move around, jump, interact with the environment. That's like way more important than all the entire other 99% of the game. It's like the 1%er of game design.
Well, yeah, because so it's like a billboard. Like, what's the first thing you see? It's visuals. So when people say art sells, it means something. So you could say art sells is the first step in a video game, and then the second thing immediately is going to be how it feels. Like, it's the second sense you get. You look at it, maybe hearing. I guess maybe sound is in there, but it's so background.
I don't know, man. I would play an ugly game that feels good over a pretty game that doesn't feel good any day of the week.
Yeah, but the only way you will have ever known how it feels is you have to look at it first.
So you're saying that like you judge on how it looks,
and
you give it a chance, based on
and it might
kind of like a mate almost, where it's like
kind of. But even if you didn't decide, you at least have seen it. Like, let's say you shoved a game down my throat that I think was ugly as sin, and I would never play. But you're like, you need to play this. I'm still looking at it first, and then I pick it up, and now I'm feeling it. So there's an order of operations of senses. And then hearing is.
Have you ever played a game that you looked at and you're like, I don't want to play this? Then you played it a bunch and you were like, this is beautiful?
I know there has, but I can't play it. I can't.
Is it? I mean, Dark Souls, for a lot of people, is going to feel like that because it doesn't look good.
Well, back in the day, it looked okay.
No, Dark Souls was always kind of behind the times.
Well, yeah, I guess I come from the world of Nintendo where I've always been behind in the graphical times.
Astrologer says that 1% of design is 99% of what the player is going to be doing, so it makes sense.
What is this referring to?
How it feels.
Yes, totally.
100%. Like just because it takes 1% of the time of like making the game at large doesn't mean it's not actually important. Well, it's like the diamond in the middle of the whole structure, right? Because if the game doesn't feel good, nothing you do outside of that is going to like redeem it.
Even when you're doing cool things in the game, apparently, if it doesn't feel good, that's why some games try to mask it with visuals, where like it looks good. Kind of. That's where I was losing it with Sifu. I didn't play a lot of it, but it felt like I feel like this looks cooler than how I feel doing it.
It looks good when you do it when you're doing it right, but what it does, what it asks for you to do it right, is kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
like it's not Dark Souls.
Oh, I always do this. I always forget to go to the.
I still want you to answer that question, man. Have you ever played a game that you initially was like, this is an ugly game, and you played it and like felt it? And was like, wow, this is actually beautiful.
I know there has, and I'm struggling to remember one. God damn. I guess maybe Battle Tanks? Remember that old green ugly game?
Battle Tanks?
Yeah, do you remember Battle Tanks?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
But that looked like the way that they all looked.
I know, but it was still ugly.
Fair enough, but like, were you turned off by its ugliness?
I'm so biased because I really want to only play games that I like looking at. I know there was some, like when I was a kid in like the 64 era, I know there were some games that looked like absolute doo-doo, but I loved playing. But I can't remember.
Can't remember. Fair enough. I think Bloodborne for me was like the closest I've gotten to that.
You don't like the way Bloodborne looks?
It's not that. And
what?
What I'm saying is that it's the closest. Like,
It's even the closest. Why is it the closest?
Not because of how I felt about the visual design. The visual design of Bloodborne was, and always will be fantastic. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But like, playing Bloodborne for me was sort of an ugly experience.
Okay.
Like, so I was not a person who would play Dark Souls 1 or 2 or Demon Souls. And you had when you played Bloodborne, am I right? You played Dark Souls 1 and 2?
Shit. Yes.
Okay.
Command Y.
So Bloodborne was my very first From Software game.
Right.
And think about your very first From Software game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It was hard.
Well, it was hard, but it was also like
Fast.
oppressive.
Yeah, it's fast.
You know, and like it was scary to me. Like when you're skilled and you're playing that game with the mentality of I've beaten Dark Souls. I've beaten Dark Souls 2. This is a game by the same people who made those games, so I know I can kill whatever that is they send at me.
So I had like I have built a sense of confidence by playing other games from
Right, exactly.
I
hadn't done that for Bloodborne, and Bloodborne is specifically a horror-themed game. So that game scared the ever-living shit out of me.
Oh, that's fun.
Because I was like minimally confident about my abilities, because I had been told by mutual friends
You're gonna love this.
that it was going to be so hard and the hardest game I ever played because it's just like Dark Souls, and Dark Souls is a game that's notoriously difficult. I was like conditioned to think that it was going to be really fucking hard.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. That's scary. Like the thought of like, oh, I'm gonna fail so hard.
I'll get back to this. Let's talk about what people are talking about. Astrologer says that 1% of design is 99%. Yeah, so we talked about that.
Uh-huh.
I think he means on a technical level. That is what they say. Artistic brilliance is less than technical brilliance.
Is that in reference to you talking about Bloodborne? I believe it is.
Maybe. Are you talking about Bloodborne, Astrologer? Because I agree with you. You know, like, as someone who's on the artistic side of the equation in terms of Lucid, you know, I would rather play, like as someone who's actually making the... Oh, he's saying that artistic brilliance is greater and not lesser.
Yes.
I don't know if I would agree with that, though.
What is it greater than?
Technical brilliance.
What's technical brilliance? Are you technically brilliant?
Well, I mean, I think the technical stuff is like the mechanics.
Oh.
And the artistic is like the story, the thematics.
Ace, can you and yeah, I would rather play Dark Souls over Uncharted. Yeah. No, he's saying you're wrong.
I'm
dumb fuck, Aaron. You dumb fuck.
I'm just trying to figure out if I understood it correctly. I'm not sure if I did. It's text to speech, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
Words your bag, man. I thought you knew what words are. What's up? Technical means it's like really good shadows and.
So yeah, so he means like the actual like yeah.
That's where I thought you were going with as well.
But I feel like mechanics are part of that. Like Dark Souls, like fucking Eldin Ring, like the whole
graphically, no,
but what happens when you press triangle against the ladder? There's a message underneath. Is a technical thing, is it not? Having input latency for certain kind of dodges is a technical issue, is it not?
They are, but I guess it's the graphical technicality or the mechanic. I would say it's but
that's not artistic. That's mechanical.
No. I would say technically is more graphical in this paradigm we're working in. Technical means like good shadows and pixels and stuff. So that's graphically, graphically, and then mechanically is more what you're talking about.
So how many levels of game design do you think there are?
Infinite, you fool.
Because he's talking about artistic elements.
Well, I mean, they're all interwoven together, but I guess we have to together.
So there's the technical, there's the mechanical, and there's the artistic. Those are the three layers.
No, they're all together.
No. They interact with each other.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that like you can critique a game on its technical level, like if it doesn't look good, or it runs poorly, or the graphics suck, or it has bugs.
Right.
That's all the technical shit.
Yeah.
Then you have the mechanics of the game,
right.
like the fucking ladder thing you were
ladder
talking
thing,
about.
yeah.
That's a mechanic. Or like, the dodge latency or the action buffering. All those shit, that's all mechanical.
Yeah.
And then there's the artistic level of the story, how it's, what its objectives were,
Literal
how it's told,
art style.
the art style of
Maybe shading,
all the aforementioned
shading techniques. Like, just think of Wind Waker. Remember when that Wind Waker dropped?
People hated it.
They hate, and now it's a
And that's
fucking
amazing.
classic.
But it's always looked amazing.
I always loved it. I was like cell shading. It was like that was the best cell shading I've seen ever. Because other games had tried to cell shade by then, and it always looked weird.
There was like 13 that game, that first-person shooter that was all cell shaded.
Yeah, and then that one, oh, dude, they fucking knocked it out of the park. What you mean mechanically is basically friendly.
What was that about?
Okay, so technically there should be a shadow here, because this is a hand. Is it enough shadow?
This guy right here would be very good at fingerprinting. He was a champion of every art contest in kindergarten. Is that you, Eric?
Are we talking to me or are we talking Scribe? He's talking to Scribe.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, this guy definitely finger painted as a kid. He also probably ate lead chips.
Nice. Thanks, Eric.
No problem.
I appreciate it for my insert character, for him to have gotten brain damage from inhaling lead paint. Fuck.
Hey, Aaron, did I not mention the Scribe's a racist? Guys, by the way, the Scribe's a racist.
You are such a piece of shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god, this is like in perpetuity. Everyone's gonna know. Where are we at? Also dipped his hand in lube. Oh, you motherfucker.
As a kid, I mean, if that blue shit is lube, he definitely acquired that skill, around like
13 or 14.
I think 11, 12, my friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was a year or two off. Look.
You don't know him like I do.
Touche. And fair enough. Did I do it again? Okay, good. I'm doing the bootsies now.
Astrologer says this is lore level material. I'm not commenting either. I mean, as someone who created and wrote this character, he's going to be...
What? I made this character. What are you talking about?
The Scribe?
1,000%.
Okay.
I made this character.
Alright, fine. Eric created this character, but I am the one who...
You're writing his words.
Yeah, I'm the one bringing him to life. The same way that you are right now.
Yeah, you brought some flavor.
That's a bullshit.
Flavor.
The words that someone speaks is the essence of who they are in terms of a game. So your animations and all those things are in service to that same narrative the way that my words are. The fact that you have to actually create him in like a visual environment like this doesn't give you more or less ownership over who he is than the person who writes the words that he says.
Uh-huh.
Also, it's me.
Also, I was the one that was like, hey, I want this character, make him.
No, fair enough. Like you created the mold into which I blew the wind of inspiration.
You're right. You are the hot air of this character, Aaron.
And all the characters,
both from his mouth and his arse.
It's a funny thing. Like,
do I need to do his feet? I know they're gonna be behind a pedestal. I should probably do his feet. I'll do his feet.
The Scribe, a man
battle.
who was man of men, dipped his hands in places other men wouldn't dare at the same age.
He's open-minded, dude. He's read lots of books.
I have placed my fingers.
Oh, God damn it! I keep forgetting he's
me. Yeah. Eric versus Aaron, death battle. This is corporate bureaucracy.
Your Honor, I breath life into him. Hot air. Okay. I'm doing feats, Aaron. I'm doing the feats.
But I mean, on a serious level,
Okay. There we go.
the Scribe, like every other character, is someone that we've birthed together.
No.
No?
False.
False?
You have not birthed anything into Owen. Owen's my baby. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess he has no.
Yeah.
Owen is the exception, though.
No, and then also
All these characters that I built and brought to life with
no,
dialogue.
I wrote some of these characters from the ground up.
No, for sure.
Yeah, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis?
It was a collaboration.
I mean, some of the later ones, but I've been working on this for 10 years, man. There's some that you just haven't touched yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. But all the words they're going to speak are going to be mine or derivative from mine, right?
You know what? Just for you, buddy. Totally.
No,
Whatever helps you sleep at night, dude.
but that is true. I am in service to Eric's vision. It's like everything that I write has been, thoroughly talked about and vetted with Eric. That like, the story, the characters, they are all his, and bringing them to life and making them interactable by Owen is the nature of my role.
Yeah, there's just in my head, like even though I had a very distinct voice and vibe and role for every single character, I am a writer to a point, and I don't think I was able to make enough different voices with one literal voice. So having your ability of just being a separate person and being
able to do all those voices?
Well, doing more voices.
Well, I mean, that's what a writer can, I mean, like you're an artist, and I am too. I mean, our arts are very different. You're a visual artist, and I'm an artist with words. I do songs and poetry and, prose and shit.
Uh-huh.
But dialogue is something that, like, comes very naturally to me because I've written a lot of it in other media before. And so being able to, like, inhabit all the voices of all the characters that you want to invest your world with is going to be something that, like, takes up the next 2 years of my whole life.
Mm-hmm. I just found a new color that I like, and I'm going to put it in the jacket. It's this nice dark green. However...
This is all just, I'm doing the feat. Well, Eric. This is Twitch, not OnlyFans.
Oh, Ace. You're a friggin' legend.
Sketchman has to say something too. He says,
"What's up, Sketchman?"
Everyone who contributes to a project like a video game can become an artist, writer, creator. What they include can become part of a character, landscape, lore, or the story itself. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
What you guys have created with your combined efforts shows how much effort and creativity you gave to the video game since the beginning. And, like, I recognize that, like, the beginning and the conception of it into something that's really cohesive is 100% Eric's doing. Like, the world that I'm helping him build is a world that he created, not me at all. And my role is very much like the Scribe.
You're
which
like like salt. Like I made a meal and you put salt on it. It just makes it like tastes so much better.
Well, I'm sure that's the metaphor I would prefer.
Salt.
Like I'm not the seasoning, Eric.
You're the salt.
I'm about to become the salt.
Remember when Ace was like, "Can I offend you?" Like, oh, dude,
we can offend each other
on the reg.
No. I mean, to me, like, it's like different artistic inspiration, right? You had the inspiration to create these characters, and your characters inspire in me the sort of words that will breathe life into them and to make them, very different from each other, and to make Aiden, the world in which Lucid is, in which it takes place, feel like a well drawn world in a way with words that echoes how Eric is working on every single character with as much care as you're seeing him do to the Scribe right now.
Yeah, I'm again, this is streaming is relatively new. I mean, it's absolutely new to me. I've never pixeled on stream, and a lot of this ends up being like subconscious autopilot stuff. Like it's all the things I've ever learned just knowing like.
Well, that's my role in here now, is to distract you from what you're actually doing.
Yeah, it's just like I just know like this cluster of pixels and this pattern. Like I just know what, like technically what to do, and then every time now and then I like pull out and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's working, cool, awesome.
Astrologer says, to Sketchman, give that man a medal. He agrees with him 100%.
Dude.
He also says, don't insult seasoning.
Yeah,
which I take as a bolstering of myself.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
Exactly.
Thank you, Astrologer. And Average Joe said I was sounding pretty salty.
Yeah,
which is fair.
Aaron, you sound mighty salty over there. Guys, I can't. I love these guys.
Astrologer.
I love that they're on my side, and I love them for being.
Astrologer said Indian food is built on seasoning.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And the story of Lucid is also based on seasoning. Oh no, rather the writing of the story of Lucid is based on seasoning, according to Eric.
Exactly.
Which is all just salt poured on something that is already there to begin with, completely fully formed.
Yeah. Salt's good, man. I love salt. I don't know why you're hating on salt so much. Hey, guys, why is he hating on salt so much?
So Astrologer says, it makes sense from an Indian food perspective. Aaron does feel like seasoning. Shit, man. Sure, meat is good, but when you put... Fuck. I gotta stop for a second.
Oh my god.
Sure, meat's good. But when you put in 25 spices along with other stuff, it brings out the flavor in the meat. Okay, I like that better.
There you go. You feel better about yourself?
There's a long sentence to get through to make me feel better. Because I feel like I'm at least everything bagel seasoning and not salt.
Okay, I think everyone's underestimating how much I love salt. Salt is like S tier seasoning.
By salt you mean me, right?
Exactly. God damn it! Now you're getting it. Let's see what else we got, dude. Sketchman has.
I have it. You just put this up. I'm going to read it right now.
I love it.
Sketchman says,
"What does Sketchman
say? I always had this belief that a person who creates something should be open to having a group or a team make contributions to it so that it benefits everyone. The creator can become an ambassador and work to see what fits in with the story without having to make it seem egotistic, feeling like it's about the creator and not everyone. Group projects should be about everyone because not everyone can create something alone." Wow. You know what that sounds like to me, Eric?
What's that?
What do you think it sounds to me like, Eric?
Sounds like bullshit.
It's 100.
It's 100% true.
It's 100% true, but what does that sound like to me? What is the project that we just worked on?
Lucid?
No, the one before that.
Antimatter?
And whose idea was antimatter?
What are you getting at here, Aaron?
What I'm saying is that I opened it up for everybody so that everyone could have a piece of it.
Uh-huh.
And that was good.
That was very good. Very good. Yeah, it was very fun.
And you've done something similar with Lucid with me.
Why is this no color coming up here? Yeah. 100%.
I think that no one can do these sorts of things alone. I mean, Eric is a magnificent artist.
And figuring out this layering. Yes.
Should I continue with my effusive praise?
Yeah, go for it. I'm just very lost. I'm like, pixels are not happening where I think they should.
So Eric is an exceptional person. He's like enormously hardworking, and he's as good as a programmer as he is as an artist because he applies the same work ethic to both. So like, what you're not seeing tonight when you're watching him make some art is that, you know, every single day of every single week that he has to work on this, he's you know creating new systems, making them operate in like a technical sort of way and a basic sort of way. But Eric is also a magnificent artist unto himself, and he's created this enormous world that I am privileged enough to be able to
Well,
elucidate.
now that I've figured out my pixel problem, and also you've stroked my ego enough, I can say, as Ace has kindly figured out, I love busting Aaron's balls a lot. I love scooching him. So if that's not coming across as a joke, it is. Aaron is a vital member to the team, and I just love messing with him. So, god damn it.
I guess we both just have like a weird respect and love for each other.
Yeah, dude. What you guys didn't see is what we just made out for a second. Oh, dude. Ace has got... There's so much going on over here.
Yeah, he put it up while we were talking about it.
Oh, I love it.
I got it.
Okay, where are we at?
I don't know if you guys have heard the story. A king asked his 3 daughters how much they loved the king. One said as much as the mountain. Another said as much as the universe.
I love this already. I haven't heard it.
The last one said as much as salt.
Oh!
On the surface, the king felt offended and exiled the daughter. But when one of the ministers gave him food without salt, and then he realized how wrong he was offended.
Dude, Ace is my boy. I love Ace. Yeah, I agree. Dude, salt is people went over war for salt.
Not really. For pepper, yes. For salt, not so much.
How dare you contradict me on stream in front of all my friends?
Well, this is something that I also possess that Eric does not.
Yeah, immense knowledge of history.
Well, I mean, world building requires a certain amount of like mosaic knowledge of history because you need to be able to draw from events in the past in real life to create.
I'd argue that for sure.
Oh, we can argue it. You want to argue it right now? I'll fucking argue with you.
Yeah, there's definitely worlds. Are you saying Hollow Knight knows a bunch of world history?
Certainly. Oh yeah.
Okay, how?
Well, it's like, what is Hollow Knight about politically?
You're gonna say that's history?
No, I'm saying that like Hollow Knight is in a lore perspective about monarchy,
But that's like saying literally something happened, so that's history. You're talking about like dates and times and wars.
So let's take Eldin Ring for example. Like the idea of a king being assassinated in a Night of Long Knives can have a lot of historiological connotations. For instance, there's the Night of Long Knives in the 30s where Hitler and his cronies took out all of the Nazi non-fellow travelers, and the SS basically took over the administration of justice in Berlin. Or you can go further back and talk about like the assassinations of actual kings in antiquity. Julius Caesar being the most famous one, but all throughout the Middle Ages, you have people being stabbed in the back and such like that. Like being able to, I mean, George R.R. Martin, like to create Eldin Ring or to create Game of Thrones.
I guess what I'm saying is that
it requires
that knowledge of history is something that I have, and I feel like I'm a layman term of.
But do you know about like the Black Wedding? That's like the equivalent.
I guess I do now.
You do now, but like George R.R. Martin knows about the time where people were invited to a wedding and they got butchered, and that's a historical event, and it inspired the Red Wedding in his books. And like to me,
I just think boxing in the ability to make a cohesive world by knowing history is. I mean,
I wouldn't say it boxes in. It's a larger font for inspiration that feels realistic. It's a mosaical, right? Where like the art that you create isn't like a repetition of history. It's like history is just one tile amid all the other tiles.
It definitely helps. It is like if you're gonna do world building, you should know this. But I don't want to discredit a person out there that's writing a story who isn't a history buff they can still make a world without knowing a
Oh
shit ton
no,
of
no,
history.
certainly.
That's what I'm getting at.
But like, if you think about the great world building of the 20th century, they're all based on historical intercedents. Like Star Wars is directly based on World War II.
That's fair.
Like
I'm just
Lord of the
going off-
Rings
I don't think
is
it is
directly
a
based.
prerequisite. It
No,
is
it's not.
highly
No.
recommended.
I mean, I don't think that you need to have been through a war to write a story mythologically about war. But I think it helped Tolkien.
Oh shit! Someone's coming here with conspiracy theory. Yes,
So
I love conspiracy theories.
So I don't think it's a coincidence that Tolkien went through World War One and wrote Lord of the Rings, which is full of war.
Wait, we missed a bunch of stuff.
No, we're going back. We're going to talk about it.
You're my eyes and ears, Aaron. You're my
we, were
eyes
talk-
and
we were
ears.
talking. We were talking. Okay, so astrologer says add the making out scenes to the behind the scenes bloopers.
Add the making. I'll hire an animator to do
it. They got a whole conversation. This is true. He did.
About what?
It is, and when they're going to read the chat, it's going to be weird. It was. History is something that happens, but also history has been rewritten a lot. So how come something can be history really?
Ooh, Aaron.
Maybe
Aaron, it's fake news, bro.
maybe something isn't not real, and that's conspiracy. Yeah,
It's absolutely true.
No, that's absolutely
all the
true.
facts you think you know are to be completely
No, I mean,
false.
but that's part of historiography. It's like history. You have to realize that history, as it's written, at least initially, is completely viewed by the victors.
I should probably save.
You probably.
I'm gonna do a little savey save right there, guys. You just saw it. I saved. Oh my god.
Like, so like, history is a narrative, right?
100%.
And like, whether or not that narrative is actually coherent in terms of the actual events that actually took place is less important, because that narrative is what artists can draw from. I mean, unless you were there and know the truth of it, to draw that art from the truth of those events, you are always going to be doing it secondhand. So like George Lucas didn't fight in World War II, but he saw a lot of World War II era movies that displayed like, dogfighting, turret wielding. So you have scenes like the Millennium Falcon shooting down the pursuing fighters, very much like a B-17 might shoot down a Messerschmitt, but like the truth of it was sort of like grafted onto Star Wars. Like that's what makes Star Wars Star Wars.
The old Star Wars. Yeah, I went there. I don't like the new Star Wars. So what? What are you going to do with it?
No, I mean, new Star Wars is fucking garbage. Sketchman says, I found that world building can help you with a lot of things. If you need a place for a story to happen, you create a world and maybe an entire universe for the characters to play in and to figure out what scenarios could happen, creating a story within the world you made in the first place. That's true. And that's why, Aiden being its own world with its own history is such a rich font from which to come all the story that does.
What?
Made sense.
Okay, great.
Astrologer says, the only thing I find true is the biggest lie about history is that humans learn from history. And I think that's absolutely true.
I like that a lot.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
it's really funny.
It's
We keep repeating our mistakes over and over. Like the fact that we're still killing each other all the time. God damn it.
It's a there's a great line in a Mammoth movie called State and Maine, and the characters say the only second chance I know is to make the same mistake twice, and that I think is descriptive of basically all of history.
How many mistakes does it take you to learn from your mistake? Actually, chat, you too. How many mistakes do you think it takes on average, for you to learn from said mistake?
It depends upon the punishment for the mistake, I feel.
Like the severity of
Yeah.
what just happened?
Like if I make one
So
mistake
you
and I'm
think
punished.
that's why we're friends, Aaron. The correct answer is context.
Yeah, I mean, it is context. Like, if like making a really, really bad mistake once is different than making
A
a minor mistake, or like a medium-sized mistake
What
3 times.
What makes it different? Oh, damn, I'm doing it again. I keep painting on the wrong layer, guys. Where do we want that? I want that. Oh, no. That was the right layer. And what's this? Background? No. Front on? It is front.
Well, it depends on how you define, the different echelons of mistakes. Like, it's like the biggest mistake you can make, like killing somebody.
Well, I guess that's, again, context. Like, if you've only made a handful of mistakes and you haven't killed someone, what's your worst mistake?
Right, exactly. I don't know. I think I believe in the philosophy of judge slowly.
I agree.
I don't think people.
There's a reason our whole thing was innocent until proven guilty, and somehow that went right out the fucking window.
Well, in the court of public opinion, that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
But I think that, like, stories that begin with people being really down on their luck or being oppressed or things like that, you don't judge those people based on those circumstances. You judge them based on how they respond to the inputs.
I've said, yeah, that's one of my mantras. You can't judge them. You have to judge a person on their actions, like, first and foremost.
Okay, so Aqua has to say, you don't really have to know history, as history is not real. Which is, I mean, true in, like, a very broad sense. Like,
well, that's kind of what we were all
like it's like history is interpreted and then given to us by people that may or may not have an agenda or be trustworthy. I agree with that. Essentially, yes. But you can say that with everything, and that I agree with too. It's like it's a caveat that can apply to any sort of discipline.
Yeah, I feel like I had that argument with, like, my dad in college. And
you don't need to go to the moon to know stuff about the moon. You can always imagine, whatever. And that's true. I agree with that too. It's like,
tell that
I
to
will
Joe
never.
Rogan.
Well, it's well, it's like I will never be able to go back to the Middle Ages and know the truth of things the way that I will never be able to go to the moon.
Right.
But I still believe that the things that happened to Henry VIII, in that era, happened the way that history has presented them as happening. Even in the same level of faith that I believe.
Exactly, I was literally about to say that. It's still
Neil Armstrong went on the moon. I didn't see either of them happen.
There is still a level of leap of faithism to all of this. Even science, as much as
But you have to make that consideration for yourself. You can't just you can't take it on faith. You have to come up with your own criteria.
Agreed.
Where it's like, how much would it have taken for them to fake the moon landing? All the shit. It's like, and taking that into consideration, do I think that they faked the moon landing? And my feeling is, it would have taken a lot more work to fake the moon landing than it would have been just to go to the moon.
Yeah.
And so they probably went to the moon.
Yeah, I think.
But who knows?
Guys, I think that actually, guys, did we go to the moon? Us as a species, I think we went to the moon. Let's see, what else we got?
Okay, so I got it.
Stop doing that? What am I doing?
So Sketchman says, history is something we shouldn't tamper with because it'll cause confusion and not make much sense when describing something.
Oh,
People want to rewrite history for any reason rather for selfish reasons, or just to make some things seem entertaining and not boring. Those within the news may make a report feeling exciting about telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But I don't think those people are actually doing the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But that's a whole other issue.
What am I not doing? I saw something.
You're good.
Okay.
Sketchman says, some things in life may always be a mystery to us, which is something that we all try to uncover and solve only for something else to happen to come along and add more mysteries, which I think is also true. It's like the more you understand, the more you're confused about.
I agree. The more I know, the more I don't know.
Astrologer says, I feel it depends on how perspective you are and how good you are.
And what was that too? The biggest mistake?
Unclear.
For example?
He also says, for a very surface level example, you making mistakes in various sports will take different times to cover up based on how much you inclined naturally to that sport. I think since every person is emotionally and physically different, them realizing how wrong they are and what they need to do will be significantly different. For example, a narcissist will never realize that they are wrong. An egocentric person will never see his own ego mostly.
Okay. I think I agree with a bunch of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's true. I know I've had the thought of like, I'm talking to someone and I'm like, you're too dumb to know that you're too dumb. I'm sure we've all had that moment in our life. What's going on here? Hold on, I'm getting a little confused. Let's get rid of the head. Oh, Aaron's on the move, guys.
Yeah, it's a nice tea.
For a very, I think the same term. For example, what happens in the news is something we may not always know. It's hard to find a lot of people who want to express the whole truth, even in this. Yeah, you're too dumb to know you are too dumb. Yeah. I agree. I feel like it's so hard because at the end of the day, a news source is a business, and if business is going poorly, and the only way to make money and to compete with your competitors is to start inflaming things and emboldening the truth, you're gonna start doing that.
Avoiding the truth, you mean?
Yeah.
Emboldening the truth.
Like making it bigger than it is, like making things sound more grand than they are.
I mean, I think that's the real problem right now is that like there are so many people who are afraid to talk about what's actually true.
Yeah.
I mean, in a society like ours,
I've gotten into a bunch of arguments when I'm just trying to like explain what I believe to be true, and it goes terribly wrong.
but I feel like in a milieu like this, the role of the artist is even more important because this is the only way that you can actually express what you feel about the world that you're seeing as it changes around you. All right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just trying to figure out the shading. There's a bunch of colors that look very similar.
Astrologer says, not to sound narcissistic, but I don't know, the average person.
Dude,
I mean,
welcome to the club.
Sketchman says, some of us don't want to acknowledge the ego that we may have. It's hard to accept the faults and realize that we have flaws in the first place.
Yeah.
I agree with that entirely.
100%.
I still have a hard time dealing with the flaws that I have, which I feel I can overcome in some way or another. I mean, to me, like, we all have our flaws. We all have...
Yeah, literally no one is perfect.
No one's perfect, and no one feels like they're perfect.
I think some people do.
Literally. Well, I mean, those people are idiots, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
If you think that you're perfect, then you are a fucking moron.
Yeah, no, we're talking like
I would never... It's like
clinical narcissism kind of stuff.
Yeah, like Astrologer is saying. It's not like, if you believe that you have everything figured out and you are perfect, you are an asshole.
Yeah, the fact that you said that is contradicting yourself.
Yeah. Like... To me, the most interesting people are the people who recognize what the limit of their knowledge is. And, those people typically have a lot more interesting things to say about those topics in which they are learned or experienced.
If you know everything, you're not asking questions. And people who don't ask questions are, in my experience, rather boring. Which
I think is a reason that the two of us get along in a lot of ways, because I'm someone who, is a writer, so that, a concept to me is something that I express in words, but a concept that you, connive in your own head.
Connive? Fuck you, dude! The lowest of low-key burns. Did anyone else catch that?
I meant contrive though.
Oh, okay.
Contrive, which is like not.
You conniving motherfucker.
Not connive. I meant contrive. I'm sorry. That would have been an insult if I had meant it, but I hadn't. I meant contrive.
I love it.
My words get confused sometimes.
You're
especially late
supposed to be the guy with the words.
I know,
bro.
but it's late, Eric. It's been a long day.
Oh, is it late? Buddy?
But the art that you contrive, the characters that you contrive, all those things are completely beyond my powers as a writer. You know, and I envy your ability to take, character and, bring him to life visually in a way that, like, he's going to not only appear the way that he does, but move in interesting ways that, like, make him much more than just a drawing, a real character.
The animating really, like, before I go on, grass is always greener from the other side. I'm sure, like, there are moments where I wish I could just write something and have all the grammar be right. But to your point, I'll be drawing something and, like, going from sketchbook to pixel, that's one layer of, like, always becoming alive, and then adding time and, like, movement and like motion and how they move. It's just another level of life.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I always say, like, if you're gonna, people who want to look at, like, oh, what are you making? I'm like, it's here, but wait for it to animate, because that's really what it is.
Right.
It's not a still.
But the animation plus a unique voice really is what brings a character fully. It's like they need to sound like themselves. And need to be animated like themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what...
A lot goes into making a character feel fully realized.
Right, exactly. Both of our efforts, even if, they're completely from opposite directions of the artistic spectrum. Like, I've written... How many words do you think I've written for this character so far? 1,000? 25? 100?
I mean, maybe 1,000. But 1,000, I mean, is not really... in the grand scheme of things, all that much.
No, exactly not.
I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to know. I always struggle with this. There's this underlay shadow portion of these pixels, and I never know if I should put it on the body or a part of the head layer.
We got questions.
Oh, bring them on. Let me...
Sketchman says, some of us don't want to acknowledge the ego that we may have. It's hard to accept the faults and realize that we have flaws in the first place.
I think we read that one already.
I still have a hard time dealing with the flaws that I have, which I can feel overcome them. Yeah, that's the stuff. Astrologer says, to be honest, life should be all about working towards what makes us imperfect.
Say that again?
Life should be about working towards what makes us imperfect.
Working towards...
What makes us imperfect.
You mean working towards... I don't understand.
He also says that we're going to get along very well.
What do you mean? Oh, us together?
He says we.
Oh, awesome.
In capital letters.
Awesome. I mean, Sketchman, we're like...
That's astrologer.
Oh, it's astrologer.
Yeah.
He's like a lucid, like, general support system. Like, goddamn, he's always there with this, like, the greatest support, and I can't think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get along.
I'm gonna put this on the head. I'm gonna put it on the head layer.
Sketchman agrees with astrologer. We should strive to figure out our imperfections and overcome them to make things better for ourselves and for everyone around us.
I agree.
I agree entirely.
I feel like I'm constantly.
It's also kind of what LUCID's about.
Yes, it is, Aaron. Careful.
But I mean, that's not a spoiler.
To our galaxy-brained fans, they're gonna figure stuff out. They're smart cookies, man.
That's not very nice. Sorry.
What? Galaxy brain is a compliment.
That's not nice to me.
Oh, I know. You're only like a nebula. What's smaller, a galaxy or a nebula? Right now, I feel like
galaxy.
I feel like a nebula.
Nebula's got a lot of galaxies.
Nebula's got galaxies. All right.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like a galaxy brain.
And
you're making yourself look like a nebula.
I've gone from salts to nebula,
Yeah.
which I think is a pretty drastic orders of magnitude.
Yeah. Again, you were underestimating salts.
It's fucking hilarious.
I'm really digging how far we've come with this dude right now. I'm nervous. I don't want to. I want to work on his glasses here. I don't want to overcomplicate him because I want to potentially get into animating on our next round. I think we have a good amount of colors. We have a good amount of shapes. I think the face is defined well enough. I think it might be good enough to start thinking about animating.
Sick.
I'm going to focus on these glasses for a little bit.
Astrologer wants no spoilers at all.
I
we didn't do any spoilers.
No, I totally respect it. Aaron, tell them how badly I didn't want to hear spoilers about Matrix, and then I wish you would have spoiled it because I fucking hated that.
So this was a few months ago, and they just announced like the Matrix 4 on HBO Max, and I watched the trailer. I'm like, good lord, this looks like a piece of shit.
My God, what have I done?
And Eric was so excited for it. So excited. And I'm like, Eric, let's watch the trailer together. I want to show you what they've presented so that you and I can have the same expectations going into this movie. And he's like, no, Aaron. Well, I'm not going to watch it. I'm like, please, it's like my birthday. Would you watch this fucking video? And he's like, I will not watch it. So I was like, fine. I will not discuss what I've seen. I will not fool you into watching the trailer before you want to. And then months later, The Matrix 4 came out, and we watched it together. And he was so disappointed.
So sad.
So sad. Because he didn't know what to expect.
I know.
And it was, well, it was what it was. Whereas I had seen the trailer and knew it was going to be what it was. And had very lower expectations and a much better time.
Yeah. Well, I for maybe like the first hour, I was on board. And it just rapidly declined.
No, for the first hour, it was fine too. The first hour of that movie is okay.
Yeah.
But, like, the first hour of a 2.5 hour movie doesn't really fucking matter.
Not a lot. Figuring out the pixels. Figuring out which one's the...
This Kishman says, if I end up learning something before I check anything out, I'll keep the spoilers in my head until I'm done with the thing I'm currently watching, reading, and playing. It's kind of true, though.
Can you say that again?
It's like once you get the spoilers, it's just sort of like you're watching it with those spoilers in mind.
Yeah, totally. Because you're also like waiting for the scene of like, all right, where's the scene I saw? And then if you're watching the whole movie and you get to a point, like let's say you're...
And it's so nice when it happens really early.
That's what
and
I'm
then
getting
you
at.
can be like, oh, that's the thing I fucking watched already. I'm so glad that everything I'm watching henceforth is not the same shit.
Because if you've seen even just the tiniest of scene where you know two characters are in it and you're 2.5 hours into the movie and that scene hasn't happened yet, you know those characters are safe until that scene happens.
Exactly.
Whereas in a video game, which many trailers, same thing, but a lot of video games with good trailers, FromSoft's like this. Dude, when we were playing Eldin Ring and we went into the underground, no trailer ever showed that. They preserved that moment for us. And I appreciated it so very, very, very much.
And you have to find it.
Yeah.
You can fucking miss the whole thing if you want to.
It was awesome.
It was pretty sweet.
Okay.
Major Resurrections should have been a remake instead of a sequel. Fair point. It's a fair point. You gotta give it to him.
I'll say this about
Give it to him.
If it was gonna be a sequel, it should have... I think it shouldn't have continued the story that it was.
A whole new story from the beginning.
It should have way more focused on totally new cast, new this, and if...
No Keanu Reeves?
If there were maybe a cameo...
Maybe a cameo Keanu Reeves.
Maybe a cameo.
Wow.
Maybe. And he
So
could be
like
referred to.
It's like a new Neo?
He could be referred to.
Yeah, fair.
But it would be a totally new, like a new cycle, like
Oh, it would be like a whole new Neo.
a whole new Neo.
And he maybe meets the old
a new
Neo.
anomaly.
Like fucking Star Wars, where they meet Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but not shitty. I think if done right, it could have worked. But it would essentially redoing the Matrix.
Astrologer says, expecting anything from a big franchise these days is essentially garbage.
I know, dude.
Yeah, well, that's how it is.
It's just how it is. My expectations are so low all the time.
I mean, unfortunately, everything you see in the theaters now is a sequel or based on some sort of IP that's established.
Yeah.
No one's willing to actually take risks on new ideas or new IPs. And it means that there's a lot of creative...
There's a void.
Yeah. And it's just like people who have already gotten success, in like the writing world, people getting optioned for their books. Those people are creating movies and shows and stuff. Things that are sure things because there's a built-in audience because people read the books.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like... I was thinking about this from our last stream of the whole Nema thing. It's essentially...
Intro what you're talking about.
Oh, right. So apparently there's a new TV series on Amazon that's going to be Little Nemo and Slumberland. It's like some old comic book that was made into a movie in the early 90s.
Little Nemo and Slumberland is like something we both grew up on.
Yeah, it's like a fantastical thing about this kid who falls asleep and has dreams and goes to like a...
It's like Inception, really.
Kind of, and also Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it's like Inception meets Alice in Wonderland.
So the long and short of it is they're remaking it, but they're switching up Nemo to Nema and making it a girl. And I was just like, why? And I just want to know why. And it just felt like they're just taking...
To me, it doesn't matter. It's like...
I mean, at
Nemo. It's like the same story.
Literally just buy... You ever see that movie, that McDonald's movie, The Founder?
Yeah.
So he essentially bought them for the name. He's like, McDonald's. They're buying you for the name. They have a story they want to tell. It's their story. They just want to slap a name on it. They buy the name, slap it on, put some characters and stuff around it, and eventually it's a totally different new thing. And like, just make it your own. Why do you need to buy an IP and make... And then try to guise it under like, oh, we wanted to tell this story in a new modern light. No, you had a different story that you wanted to tell.
What an obscure choice.
I know.
To adapt something.
Me.
It's like, I mean, there are people like us who love Little Nemo, but like, it wasn't this huge property that like should be made into like a Lord of the Rings.
But still, it's using its name. It's riding off the coattails. It's not like running away from the fact that it's a reinterpretation.
Astrologer says he's only watched 3 movies in the past 5 years in the theaters.
Really? Actually, you know what?
It's probably true for us,
yeah, that's
too.
true for us.
What was the last movie you saw in the theater?
The last movie actually was fucking awesome, dude.
Which one was it?
My fiance took me, for my birthday, she took me to a completely empty IMAX theater, and it was playing the original Ghost, the original cut of the Japanese version of Ghost in the Shell.
Oh.
It was awesome. I had such a good time.
That sounds pretty sick.
It was so fucking cool, dude. Like, seeing that, like, it still had, like, the 90s film grain on it on, like, 4 whatever K IMAX. It was awesome.
Sketchman says, streaming services are mostly getting the good stuff. Movie theaters aren't willing to have them because franchises are king when it comes to getting the spot in the theater these days.
I kind of agree with that. Like, it's like...
You mostly get to see anything you want to see, like on HBO Max.
Yeah, like...
Or Netflix.
The things I actually enjoy and want to see and look forward to see are on HBO Max and stuff like that. The biggest names, like the biggest, lowest common denominator kind of stuff is definitely coming up on theaters.
Sketchman's seen Little Nemo.
You have?
Yeah.
Dude! What a cult classic. I love that movie. That's up there when I was a little kid, I would rent My Neighbor Totoro and those two tapes over and over and over and over. And
Yeah,
over.
I think my parents bought it at some point, and so I
Oh,
just
you
watched
lucky
Little Nemo
bastard.
over fucking and over again.
It's so good.
I love dirigibles.
Yep.
Sketchman said he watched Little Nemo not in the movie theater. Astrologer saw Into the Spider-Verse in the theater.
You did?
And that was really good.
Ooh, Ace.
That is a good movie.
That was a phenomenal movie. That's actually one of the few modern movies I've watched, and I was like, that was really fucking good. The thing is, I'll say this. As much as like most of the shit is shit out there, when something's good, it's usually really fucking good.
Yeah, that's fair. They are making a Little Nemo video game. You've seen that, right? On Twitter?
I did. I don't know if it's official. I think that's an indie dev.
No, it's 100% indie dev.
Yeah.
Sketchman's talking about it, but I've seen it too.
It looks good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it totally does.
It's the animations are really fluid. It's the one where he has like a little robot buddy. I forget its name, but I saw a post where he had a little robot buddy, and you can change its color. It looked really good. Hey guys, what do you? How are we thinking about the Scribe? I think he might be good for animation soon. That's about the size you're gonna see him on screen. Does the Scribe look good to you guys? Oh, I'll wait for a sec while I get a refill. Oh no, there are no more refills.
Oh, there's refills.
Oh, there's more potent refills. Glug, glug, chug, chug. Am I right?
Wait.
Oh, I see. Oh, peach pint Snapple. Diet Snapple. Oh. Seems to be looking good so far. Gotta wonder how the animation will be when you get doing that part. He looks good now, very well defined. Awesome. Oh, thank you, sir. Well, cheers to you guys. Thank you. The animation. So I can describe what we're definitely gonna animate him on stream. I can give you a preview verbally, sonically. So he's gonna have like the classic like up and down rise. You know, everyone's seen the idle pose, the up and down, like he's breathing, a little bit of a bob. But other than that, you know, actually there is one more thing I can do. I'll do that now. He's gonna have this little. I mean, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Let me make a layer. New layer. Boom. He is going to have a little workbench where he's doing all his scribing. He's gonna have. Here we go. He's gonna have like a little thing like this, and it's gonna have like something he's scribing on. It's gonna have some writings here, and it's gonna look all stone-like. It's gonna look something like this, something like this, guys. And so he's gonna be bobbing up and down, and maybe he's gonna like scratch his knee every now and then. But his hand, for the most part, he's gonna be like finger painting and scribing and like etching into stone with his laser finger and writing the history of the Sentinels. And he's gonna be writing every now and then. His little other monocle's gonna fall down, and he's gonna like lift it up with his hand and then go back to writing. Maybe his hand will go on his hip. His hair is definitely going to be bushy or flowing up and down. When he talks, his nose and his beard's going to kind of bush up and down. I'm really looking forward to him. He has a lot of like Muppet and puppet qualities, but I freaking dig it. I dig it a lot. Oh yeah, Aaron's fluffing up his hair as we talk. Yeah, you can sit across from me next time, and I'll just say bounce up and down.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Exactly. He's looking at that. Look like using a tablet, but made in stone. Exactly, Sketchman. Exactly. Let's try this concoction Aaron has made me. Let's see.
It'll taste good, I guarantee it.
Oh my god. That's amazing. I saw how much of the other stuff you put in there, and that's amazing.
I told you, man. You didn't listen, but all my ideas are good.
Yeah, you like that one? You like that? I've seen you using it a whole bunch lately.
It's my new catchphrase.
All my ideas are good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna
make his bench. Make his bench. See it.
All right, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll make his bench. I'm gonna see. I don't have confidence in myself, guys. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it in tonight's sitting. But
you have 27 minutes.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, 20 fucking 7 minutes.
20 fucking 7 minutes. Can you?
To make a stool that and like
It's
a
not
scroll, a stooly kind of table with like a parchment or a tablet he's writing on, and to have like, you know, just like crystal magic coming off.
All right, we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna give it a shot.
Oh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna do it, you guys, with your power combined.
Could have been the first man to ever using a smartphone or modern tablet before we even thought of making such devices. That's a good. Well, see now, Sketchman, you're assuming Lucid happened in the past. So I don't know where you get the idea that time isn't a construct, but you need to check your privileges, my friend.
I agree with that assessment.
I just use so many hot button words, just throw them all out there. All right. Let's see here, guys. It's got to be at an angle so you can like see what's going on, right? It's also got to be under his hands. Under the pointy hand or under both hands? Let's find out. I think it's under both hands. Well, at least for now it is. So this is post-apocalyptic. I'll check with the receptionist on the way out. Yes, Sketchman. I like the idea of it being post-apocalyptic. It's in like some tangent. It has no ties. It is not on Earth, but yeah. What is future? It's definitely, I don't know, I haven't revealed a lot of art showcasing this a lot, but there's going to be kind of this subdued steampunk aesthetic in some areas. Like there are the idea that technology is a thing, but it's not steampunk, it's more like crystal punk, where instead of steam, it's powered by crystals. But 'twas hubris that killed mankind, and they flew a little too close to the sun, and we're gonna see the repercussions of their actions.
Icarus style.
Yeah, dude.
So like I meant to ask you about this a while ago.
Hit me.
The mythology of the world, because like to me, my role is way removed from like the actual like mythology and like the creation myth of the world of Lucid. Like all of my writing.
You've seen the documents of my.
No, and I know how it all went down. I have seen those documents, but like my role is to give voices to the people who are living like today. Mm-hmm. All responding to all those antecedents. But I want to know, like, where did that idea come from?
What idea?
Like of like the mythology element of it, like the celestial bodies and Ilia and Troika and Alo.
Is the idea, where did the idea of having like a creation myth come from?
Well, how did the idea for this creation myth come about? Is really my question.
Oh, okay. I need to think about that for a second. So, on a super basis level, like I know one of the heaviest inspirations of it is a mixture of like the Legend of Zelda creation myth with the three goddesses like Din, Nayru, and Pharaon, I forget her name.
I don't know what that is. Is that the Triforce?
Yeah, essentially it's the Triforce. Each of one of them was a goddess, and they helped shape the world of Hyrule, as it were. So, on a super fundamental level, the three is just such. I mean, even just look at talking about history and lore, world building. Look at like Christianity or other religions with the trifecta. Three is just such a powerful number. But the whole creationist mythos of Lucid is actually heavily based in sacred geometry and like special mathematic equations and stuff, like harmony and music and how they all are super intertwined. And
So there's like a logic to creation along certain artistic like.
Yeah, you could say that. So yeah, a lot of the lore is going to be heavily like super dense with sacred geometry rules. Um, and then
Like a shell, abiding by like the 4-3.
the Fibonacci sequence,
Yeah,
a little bit. There's nothing like super tied to the Fibonacci sequence, but like the golden
but like that,
stuff like that.
where it's like classical mathematical like
Yes.
truths
Yes.
and like proofs will like
Absolutely. And
influence it.
in a weird way, that's kind of like an echo of my past life as an architect, where we studied.
That's so interesting because you're building a game and you used to build buildings.
Yeah, yeah,
That must have a pretty broad crossover.
yeah, and that's one of them. Like every move you make as an architect has to have a reason, or a good architect usually has a reason for it, and some made-up reasons you fall on are like mathematical equations like that. So, but we found out a long time ago, certain ratios just look really good with each other. So a lot of columns you've ever seen, on the most part, you look at a building, you'll see a column, you just think it's a column, but there's like a reason to it, and it's the proportions are all intertwined to the total mass of that facade. So the height of that facade is dictating the proportions of that column. It's not random. And it's because of that same idea where everything's holistic, it has a ripple effect. So now there's a ratio to the columns, which has a ratio to the door heights, which has a ratio to the chair rail, which has a ratio to the floor tiling, which has a ratio to the width of the stairs, which has a ratio to the width of the hallways. Everything is working in tandem, and you can't break that, and you have to have a good reason to break it.
It's almost like a key number, and then everything is.
Yeah, you pick like early on, you pick the grid, you pick the rules you're working with, and you just play off of it.
And then like everything is just.
It becomes a little bit modular.
Oh, if it's 2 meters, then this is this height. This is this width.
It's kind of help.
It's like a mathematical formula.
It helps.
That where X, you put an X for whatever the kind of building size there is, and then you apply that as like the variable to all these different equations.
Yeah, pretty much.
That makes sense.
Pretty much. Like that's classical architecture, and I come from high end.
But is making like a game the same?
I mean,
is that applying similar rules, or is there a more artistic?
There's definitely stuff like that. Consistency is huge. In the same way in architecture, where you have to be consistent with your rules. You can't have you can't have doorknob heights change in different rooms. That's insane. You can't have by code. You can't have stairs that change tread and run height. It's a hazard. People die because of that. Because your body like memorizes step height, and if you know that feeling when you think there's one more step.
Yeah.
If you fuck with that, people can die. And the reason we know that is because people have. So yeah, and in a weird way, I guess it's impossible for me to divorce myself from that mindset. So I guess that has reached into LUCID to some meaning.
Did they tell you that story in architecture school about like the architect who made one too many stairs and like killed somebody?
I had a building in what is it called? Building and engineering class or something.
Tell me the story.
Essentially, this architect, he was our teacher who was teaching us like building systems, like drawing, like how things are literally built, like as a construction. It was early on, and he was adamant on this because I believe it was his wife. His wife died falling downstairs or some shit like that.
Okay.
It was pretty.
What's the precept?
I don't remember. He told there was a story, and his wife. The stairs were not built to code, and she died because she fell down and broke her neck.
Wait, his wife died?
Oh, I thought that was clear. Yeah, his wife died because of a stair code violation.
And that's how he taught you
Yeah.
not to commit stair code violations?
Yeah, he used that anecdote.
Hey guys, make sure your stairs are up to code, because if you don't, someone could die, like my wife. Is that really the class you took?
Hey man, you jest, but that's almost exactly what happened.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, man. Architecture was fun.
It's not a jest. I mean, I was just trying to understand. I mean, that's a fucked up way to learn things, man. Did all of your classes involve people with direct experience
Not all of them,
on the folly of mistakes?
Not all of them was as metal as that, but a lot of them were close. They were definitely close.
Sishman says, I don't have any stairs, so...
Stairs, they're overrated. Ramps is where it's at.
Ramps?
Yeah, man. Here we go.
But there's another equation, right? It's like the how many stairs you have in your life to climb before you fall. Like
It's more of like a probability.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like the same way that you have a certain probability of being struck by lightning, you have some sort of probability of like
there's so many factors
missing a stair and taking a pretty bad tumble.
Well, I mean, they're different. They're so different. One is like based on, I mean, I guess they're both to a degree based on location. If you live by a lot of stairs, or if you don't.
No, certainly. If you, I think if you take the subway every day, then the odds of you having a bad tumble on the staircase to the subway is higher than us who don't go on a subway every day.
Right. Or if like you live in Tornado Alley, the odds of getting hit by a tornado are pretty high.
Right, but you do live in a spot where you have to climb stairs to get to your front door. Which means that you descend stairs quite regularly to get out of your place. And like there's a certain amount of steps you will descend before you take a fall.
I mean,
statistically, actuarially.
I guess. What do you think the number is?
Well, I mean, it's in the hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
I mean, it's true. I mean, it's like the chances of you fall. I mean,
what if you're really clumsy? What if you're exceptionally clumsy?
Then it would be higher.
I mean, it would be lower.
Yeah. I mean, the chances would be lower, but like the one in whatever number that would be higher.
All right. Well, I think you should make a thesis. I think you should submit said thesis.
As Sketchman said, build some ramps in your home, and you can slide down instead of climbing down every time you need to get somewhere. Astrologer says, stairs are just a way to compensate for the overpopulation. Shit, man.
Stairs are filtering out the lowest of them.
Sketchman replied, keep them in line, so to speak. Well, shit, you guys.
Fuck! I'm so happy right now. That's hilarious. Oh my god, I'm so glad my wife didn't die falling down some stairs. I'd be gravely offended.
You gotta be careful descending stairs.
You really do.
You make that number go up.
You really do.
Because I think it's like, one stair in like 200,000 stairs you climb, you will fuck up the stairs.
I'm just picturing now that there's like, like in this day and age, everything needs a sign, like a warning.
Yeah.
Every stair has like, if your IQ is lower than this, we advise you not to take these stairs.
No, but even like a normally intelligent person will miss a stair every 200,000 stairs.
Yeah.
And like whether or not that happens in a place,
but is it your fault or is it the designer's fault?
Well, here's the question.
Yeah.
If you do that in a place with a banister where you slip and you just grab the banister and you're fine.
Another reason why by code you need to have handrails.
So it's like if you don't have a handrail when that shit happens, you're in for a bad time.
Yeah.
But if you have handrails and you just grip it,
dude,
and it's like,
dude,
it's like you forget that about that shit in about an hour.
Well, you don't even want to know like the amount of codes and regulations that go into a banister. Like there's a certain height, the railing has to be a certain width, a certain diameter. The spacing between the balusters have to be less than 4 inches in diameter because kids try to stick their heads through them. It's insane. To make a stair takes like months to make a stair to code.
Dude, that liquid noise, what the fuck? I think that was my dog having a drink of water. What you heard.
Did you pick that up? Holy crap. Or it was definitely not me drinking, right? Hold
on. This is Eric drinking. Oh my.
It wasn't that, right? It wasn't that. I don't think it was that.
If it wasn't that, it was my dog having a drink of water.
How dare she? That parched son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
She's the daughter of a bitch, like all dogs.
Go to heaven.
So cute. So fucking cute.
I'm like, I haven't really thought of this all that much, so I'm kind of just going off the fly. You
That's
guys.
Aubrey too, you guys. If you heard that whimper in the background.
Yeah, that was a dog. I'm kind of going off the fly. I kind of like the idea of this thing being kind of like a stone stump.
Like a petrified wood.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what the woods are called. They're called the petrified wood.
Right.
So, for now, I think we're going to go with that. I think we're going to lean into that, this stone. So interesting doing this live, man.
Does it make you do a different method?
I don't know. I have not analyzed myself enough to know. I mean, I would have to imagine that I'm doing it slightly differently because I can't completely ignore the fact that there's an audience, or just the fact that we're talking. Like I
guess that's the uncertainty principle, right? Like anything that's observed
exactly
is changed by the fact.
The fact that's being observed. Yeah, like just the fact that I'm distracted, and it's not in a sense. I'm not distracted in the you're distracting me. It's just a fact. Like we're talking. So
for sure.
My mind's not 100% here, and because of that, I'm not doing it 100% the way I used to. So it's interesting.
Well, my job is to distract you. So
yeah, so it's just an interesting exercise, and it's one I'm interested in getting used to and calibrating towards, and I'm figuring it out.
It's a pretty sweet looking stool, though.
Thank you. I mean, yeah. Again, I haven't really thought of it too much. I'm just trying to find shapes I like right now. Kind of carve it out. I feel like pixel art's very much like carving. At least when I'm doing it, I feel like I'm just like whittling away a piece of wood, some shapes, trying to get it looking right. But once I get this down, I think we'll be good until we get the animation phase. That's something I'm gonna have to plan out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
I do love animating, man. It is so much fun. I can do it for hours. That's almost anyone. Okay, we're getting close. Okay, let me start fucking around with some highlights and lowlights. Let me see what's up.
No.
Actually, I have a question for. I know we were talking earlier about like posts about some like gameplay and like some stuff like that. What other like lore bitty or what other videos would people like to see about Lucid? Like, what are people wanting to see right now? Because to be completely candid, I was on a sprint to hit the trailer and the Steam page launch, and once I hit it, I was like, all right, now I have a bunch of coding to do, and I didn't really flesh out posting schedule. So knowing what people would like to see would really help.
I mean, Astrologist wants to see more, man. He said, can't wait for this to get animated. Lucid animations are top tier.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I really I love animation. I grew up on it. Like, it didn't strike me until I was older that how much I appreciate animation. I watched so many movies as a kid. So many movies, animated movies.
Sketchman says they learn it from the best in video games and spray animation. And that's exactly right.
What was that?
He's talking about how we're Astrologer was talking about how we were top tier, and and Sketchman is talking about how we learned it from the best in the business.
It's true. I definitely 100% I reference other people's work. I look at the things I love, and I'm like, I would like to make something like that, and I use it as reference. What's that quote? All great artists theft, or something like that?
Yeah. But I think more of, I mean, I think about it more like we're standing on the shoulders of the giants that preceded us, and getting higher and higher and closer to the ideal kind of game. I mean, Mega Man X is a masterpiece, but like knowing what we all know now and having the power that we all have now, can we take what we love about that game and make something that's even better, standing on their shoulders? Knowing that, like, if we couldn't stand on their shoulders, we couldn't even attempt to make a game that was as good as that.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, like that's like what science is, right? Like all science is using other people's work to further your own.
Right, but like mechanics of game mechanics are kind of like a science too.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And so like people who made the classics that we love in the genre that Lucid is in, we've learned from them and also from all the other people who
We
have
also
made.
learned what's like that's not how you do that.
Right, exactly. But there are so many people who've made games in those genres from then until now that we also have the benefit of their experience. So it's not just that we're inspired by retro games, it's that we've been inspired by them, but we also are cognizant of all the evolution of gameplay that's happened between then and now through indie games and mainstream games alike. Which is why Lucid is like a love letter not only to like the games we grew up with as kids, but also to games that are, more recent that are really exemplary in building the modern two-dimensional game to be what it is. Like things like Celeste.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good artist copy, great artist steal.
Thank you.
That was the phrase.
Thank you. Yeah, there's so many times, man, where I'll just be like, I don't know how to draw this, and I'll go to Google and I'll type in pixel art. I don't know, a bush. I'll take the bush. I'll look at like I'll look at their patterns, the shapes they're making, the colors they're using, and I like this. I like this. I like this. I study it. I practice it. It's like music where you learn the basic chords, and eventually when you learn it, you can start soloing, and you can start riffing, and then you have your own song, you have your own jazz, you have your own lead.
And now you can draw bushes.
And now I can draw bushes, man. I can draw the best bushes. I have the best bushes.
You could draw bushes all day long.
I could draw circles around bushes, man.
Giant bushes.
I love bushes. Guys, I love bush. Oh, fuck.
I'm going to leave that where that is.
And paste. Okay. For some time. Okay.
Are we going to put in like a thing that he's like looking at?
I'm still getting the shape. I'm not super... I'm going to figure this out.
Oh, the stool, you mean?
Yeah, I'm still figuring out some stuff. I don't want to commit to the whole thing. I want to know what's underneath. But... I don't know, man. I think this might be a good place to pause for now.
Yeah, it's getting to 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's been 3 hours. I think we've gotten a lot of progress on them for sure.
Definitely. I think we've come a long way with this, guys. Let me know how you think this has been coming along. If you liked it, I love bushes. Oh boy. But yeah. I think we're gonna be calling it a night soon, but there's gonna be a part 3. We're gonna animate this, dude. Like I have a clear vision of how I want.
Yeah, I like how the series is going.
I'm going to. I might off stream kind of fiddle with this little fucking thing for a little bit, just get it right. But I think next stream we're gonna be animating the Scribe.
Sick.
For sure.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and. I mean, we're gonna see you guys around. It's always you fantastic gents hanging out.
Oh,
with
absolutely.
Us. But yeah, we're in the Discord. I'm on Instagram all the time. I love hearing from you guys. I try to get back to you as best I can. But thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
It makes these
Saturday
nights
night.
so much more fun when you guys are here to just talk shit and figure out what end Aaron's hot air is coming out of. But love you guys, and we'll see you soon. And thanks for being here. We'll sign off.
Good night, guys.
Night, y'all.